Yo! How we doing? So I'm just vibing, bro. Just vibing to my new favorite song. My new favorite song. It's definitely Street Fighter chat. Let me do this properly. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and envies, thanks so much for tuning in. Welcome to this live stream. My name's Mikey. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Hope you're all having a wonderful time. We've got an interesting stream to have a look at today. We've got a brand new Dawn of War trailer. We've got some spicy drama that's just come out that I've been sent, and then we've got a fun segment I thought we'd try. So that's the plan today. So I hope you're all doing well. Thanks so much for tuning in. Let me know who you are and where you're watching from. People are like, what's the drama? I haven't heard of anything. Well, that's why it's in the title, bro, because I'm bringing you hot off the press news. That's the whole point. So welcome in. Let me know who you are, where you're watching from, what's going on, what you've been up to this weekend. Did you go to the LGT? Well done if you did. Hope you didn't get like knocked over by someone doing track and field or something. But shout out to Liam VSL, who's just won LGT for a third time in a row. So well done to him. Appreciate him. Well done. Well done. His models were fucking gash though. His models were fucking gash. Did you see the paper bases? Paper fucking bases in our year of Lord 2025. Absolutely diabolical. Absolutely fucking diabolical. Chat, my new Warhammer just dropped. I haven't cut it out yet, though. Crazy. Crazy. But, did you go? Been watching? You've been chilling with it? I saw they had like 4 different streams, and then everyone was just watching Wargames live, so fair play. So yeah, so interesting day. But there's also been a new Dawn of War trailer, which I thought we'd take a look at some point. We'll do the gossip first, because I don't want that to be the focus of the entirety of the stream. I'll be doing that very shortly. But then later we're gonna have some conversations, you know? We're gonna have some conversations with you, chat at home. There's a feature on Discord called The Stage. I don't know if you've seen it. You might have seen it, I don't know. But there's like a stage feature where I can jump on and like, you know, like I can be like the host of the stage, and I can bring you guys up one at a time to talk on stream. So the plan is, I think my plan is to ask you what your worst or hottest Warhammer takes are. And you will be able to tell me, and then we'll have a conversation about it. Then we'll let chat decide whether it's a hot take or whether it's actually cold take or whether it's actually a good idea, you know? So that's the plan for the stream. That's the plan. So let me just catch up with what you guys are saying in chat. Thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate you all. Can you ban cold take? If there's a cold take, yeah, we'll do hot. We need a hot or ban, but we need it to ram. You know what I mean? Scran or ban type deal. Is it a scran take? No, we can't do that. I don't know. We need a name for it. But I am drinking a lovely drink by G Fuel. We've got a bright orange colour because we're drinking Sonic Peach Rings. As you can see, this time it's in a sachet. This G Fuel flavour. Because they actually do little sachets rather than having to have a whole tub, so you can take them out and about, or you can just try a flavour in particular. So I've got the Sonic Peach Rings flavour that I'm trying. It's very tasty. Exclamation point G Fuel in chat. If you're an avid energy drink drinker like me, you can save a lot of money, save a lot of sugar, and save a lot of come downs. Mostly, that's the main thing. Let me just tell everyone in my Discord that I've gone live. Chat, I'm live talking about the big UKTC drama. You need to hear this. What you do? You need to hear this, I think. We'll get into that first, okay? If that's okay. They'll do Ziploc bags, bro. So, I ordered a bunch of sachets. I actually still have some. And like a cup to give away at a tournament, okay? And then they didn't arrive in time, which is the only downside as a UK man, as an Englishman who loves G Fuel. He's shipping direct from America, so it takes like a week, okay? But I left it too late because I'm dumb, as per usual. So I left it a little bit too late, so I ordered it. It didn't arrive, but I had a spare cup because I got a bunch with the, like, when the sponsorship came in, I got a bunch of stuff. But I didn't have any sachets. I only had tubs, and I was like, I can't just give someone a cup because it's like, ah, cool. I've got I've won a plastic cup, you know, because I got one from Home Bargains for £2. So I gave a scoop of each flavour that I have from the tub, but I put them in Ziploc bags for the giveaway, you know. The giveaway prize was a little. I had to put the scoops in little baggies. So I just put them in the cup, and I was like, oh, it's just white powder in little bags in a cup now. So I wrote on it, definitely not drugs, blue raspberry, but definitely not drugs, lingonberry. So I think I kind of covered whoever won its ass, you know what I mean? And then I like was speaking to someone, and they're like, oh, I put a G Fuel cup in the raffle, and oh, cool, I'll buy some tickets. And I was like, is it because it looks like drugs? Is that what you're trying to do? And he's like, no, I'm a police officer. I could never joke about that. And I was like, whoopsie. Whoops. Whoopsie. They're just Ziploc bags. They're definitely not drugs. Okay, it says it on the bag. You know? Court, police, get me. Look, definitely not drugs. It says it on the bag. ACAB, troop. A bit of an off-topic question, but which Gundam kit is the prize? I'm trying to figure out how much space it's going to need. It is, so if you don't know, chat, I put out a video a couple weeks ago. The Gundam-based tour. I'm just trying to find it. I'm trying to find it. One sec. If you didn't know, I put out a video a couple of weeks ago called the Gundam Base Tour, because I went to the Gundam base and I did a tour. I don't know if you knew. And I did a whole video about it. You might have seen it. Not many people did. It's got less than 2,000 views, which is a bit sad because I had a great time, but it's a bit different. So I went to the Gundam base in London, and I gave away... I went here. Wow. Guess what? If you watched... Wait for it. Pause, champ. All of the product is on the so I went here and we saw some Gundams and stuff. You know what I mean? It was cool. Me and Big C went. So in this video, I actually gave away a free Gundam. So the Gundam that I gave away is actually, it's not actually that huge. Okay, but you'll be happy to know it was free. So I gave away this kit, the RX-78, and Mardy Marv won. There was a video in my Discord just to make sure that they know they've definitely won. This is my mouth. I'm not AI just yet. Shout out to Mardy Marv who just won this. But it's not huge, okay, as you can see. It's not a huge box. It's not a huge kit. It's probably like a 20 centimeters or something like that. Like when it's built, I don't know the exact measurements. It's a 1/44 scale, but if you don't know what the actual size of a Gundam is, you don't know. But it's like it's a relatively small kit. So it's like a half an hour kit. You should be, well, if as a first time Gundamer, you should be able to build it in like 30 to maybe like 20, 30 minutes or something. So congrats to Marty Marv, who won with the comment. It was something like, gone damn, you're ill. So if you were watching that video and you're like, when's Mikey going to do the draw? It was today. I did this morning. So... bit bigger than a dreadnought. Yeah, so if you've seen, can you remember, did you see this one? You see this? I'll get something for reference. Let me get something for reference. Here's a Lictor. It's the same size as this one. It's quite a bit bigger than a dreadnought. So it's like an action figure. It's not tiny. So this is a Lictor. Barely know her. And this is what you've won, but not this colour. It's the traditional colours. Chat, I will be giving away one of these as well, just in another video. Okay, next Gundam video. So you basically won that figure, it's just different colours. You don't have to move anything. Well, you can do one. You can fold it up. You can fold it up into a ball. It's a articulated figure, bro. So congrats. Congrats to you, my friend. So let's get into the drama, okay? You might have heard of the LGT. I did not go to the LGT. I've been quite vocal about how I don't want to spend nearly £100 to play in a gym hall. But what they've done today is announce their new dates. And I'm not going to show them because that's not what I'm talking about. But they have lots of tournaments next year. They have got some all over the country. They've got some in Edinburgh. And they've got some in, like, Bristol. You know what I mean? Like that sort of range. And they've added more this year. They've added more locations. And you might have heard of the ITC, the International Tournament Circuit, which is now owned by Games Workshop. But there's a bit of a... It doesn't happen in the US. I feel like it's a UK exclusive thing. There is a bit of a want for individual ranking circuits. Okay, so you have the ITC as a top level. And it's like, that's what most, if not all, tournaments submit to. So your ranking gets put against the ITC, and it's an international circuit. And bearing in mind when you go on there, okay, if we go on to the ITC rankings, just in general, shout out to Innis, #1. Great job, mate. Great job. But it has every single... It has, like, most events these days. You know what I mean? Most people submit to the ITC. You can actually limit by country. Like, if I want to see best in the UK, this will take all of the UK tournaments and shows the best person. You know what I mean? If I want to look at Europe, all of Europe, I can see all of the events in Europe, and it'll tell me who's the best person there. If I want to do North America, I want to do South America, I can do global, you know? If I look at global, it'll show me the ranking for everyone against every event in the system, not just a specific area. Because the way that ITC ranking filters work is you are ranked not by where you live, where the event is played. So if I live in the UK and I play exclusively US events, all of my rankings will be in the US, okay? There's a bit of a trend in the UK for some reason. Now, granted, I'm kind of part of one called the Northern Tournament Circuit, but I kind of joined a few years ago, and then I've not really done anything with it. I've never submitted one of my events, but I'm kind of part of it because I'm a Northern TO, because I run events in the north of England. But there's like loads of different like ones. I think there's one for like Carnage events exclusively. They have their own ranking system, and the other big one, the other big one is the UKTC rankings. So obviously London Grand Tournament is a huge event, okay, and it's a huge event, and it's part of the UKTC, which is the same company. It's not like a different tournament. It's just one's in London, and it's been called London Grand Tournament for 10 years. But like they have their own ranking system, because what they use it for is for like best Space Marine player, best Drukhari player in the UKTC. So it UKTC registered events. Now, UKTC is very, very large, very well known, and I have my own personal grievances with it, but just in general, they run loads of events around the UK, and wherever, again, this is conjecture, so this is just me, this next point, is wherever there seems to be quite a large event, a UKTC event pops up soon after, you know? There was never a UKTC Sheffield GT there was one announced 4 months after I ran a 120-person event in the Sheffield, and then suddenly, bam, Sheffield GT every year now. There was quite a large event in Scotland recently. Bam, Edinburgh GT. You know, that's my okay. I'm getting my personal points out the window, but it's just like something that happened. It's just one of those things. However, the UKTC and the UKTC rankings is not exclusively for UKTC events. It's for events in the UK. Okay, so people who don't run UKTC events have been submitting their scores to the UKTC rankings, so people can go win prizes. Like, I want to be the best Space Marine player in the UK. Please submit my score via the UKTC rankings. You know. But now, as I said, like kind of going back to my personal grievance I've just mentioned, back to what I'm talking about is that the UKTC is running events every month, or sometimes multiple times a month, in different parts of the UK, Edinburgh or Bristol. Now they have they're supposedly, anyway, I've been sent this. I'm only going off the messages I've been told, so it might be false. Everything I've said is perfectly factual so far. So this next point, again, conjecture. There is a message was sent to me. It says UKTC have changed the rules for tournament tokens for submitting scores to their rankings. They are now no longer issuing tokens to any GT that is the same weekend as any of their super majors, regardless of location. So what this means is let's say there's an event in Scotland that's run by the UKTC. If this is true, if I was personally running an event in, I don't know, the Isle of Wight, I would no longer be able to submit that event to the UKTC rankings because it's on the same weekend, even though geographically it couldn't be further apart. So what the UKTC, if this is true, what the UKTC have allegedly done is kind of go, well, yeah, everyone can submit their scores so everyone can get involved with the UKTC rankings, and then rug pulled straight after. And added in like anti-competing like clauses to their rankings that if you are in the UK, you use UKTC rankings, fair enough. It's not something I've ever cared about because I just look at the ITC rankings. But if that is true, if this is true, then in my opinion, I think that's really scummy. Thank you, Jake, for the 32 months, dude. Really appreciate it.
Joined Jake's
Thank you, dude. Very kind of you.
Tall Wargamer celebrates 32 months of membership.
Thank you, dude.
Ridiculousness has happened now.
So if this is true, I think it's a real shame, and I think the best thing that could be done is clarification of whether this is true, and if it is true, I think that's scummy and they should kind of like rescind it. But like, if it isn't true, then I will come out and say, okay, what I was told was a lie. But like, it doesn't seem, it doesn't seem like the best idea to go, here's like the UKTC rankings. It's cool because it's part of the UKTC. And then to be like, look, we're just going to start popping up super majors everywhere. And we're not really going to like question anyone else. We're not going to be like, hey, I'm bringing my event close to you. Do you want to work together or anything? It's just like, no, you can't get involved with me anymore because I've decided I don't want to. Completely relevant unless you're a sweaty points chain, sir. I don't think that's the point. I just think it just shows, again, if it's true, it might not be, it just shows a lack of willingness to be involved with the community and would rather own it. You know what I mean? and that what I think is a real shame, to be honest. So yeah, so that's something I was sent this morning that was been said. Again, it may or may not be true, but I don't think someone would like come outright lie about that. It just seems a bit weird. So it's a bit like not good vibe. If it's true, it's not good vibes. You know what I mean? It is true, unfortunately. Again, I'm just going off what people are telling me. I'm not making any personal claims myself. But if it is true, not that I've ever really bothered to submit to the UKTC rankings, if you're running a super major every other week because you are trying to like corner the entire market in the UK and just go, whatever gym hall will give me the best price to cram as many people in as possible. But if you're running a tiny 20-man event, 6 hours drive away, you're not allowed to get involved. You're not friends with us anymore. I don't know. It just seems like very anti-competition. I'm sure there's laws against it in the UK. You know? So, yeah, like, yeah, scummy. Scummy is probably the best point I can put across with it, if it's true, which a lot of people seem to be agreeing. So yeah, so there's your UKTC drama. If you were just tuning in for that, there you go. Dickhead move, in my opinion. In my opinion. Anyway, you know what is good? The ITC rankings and Hellstorm Wargaming events, which we've already announced our dates before the other ones, okay? And we run events in places that Don't have track and field on a Monday morning while they're trying to play the finals. You know what I mean? We'd have people sprinting around and throwing balls everywhere while they're trying to play the most prestigious event in the UK right there. So yeah, so there you go. There's your UKTC drama. The other UKTC drama is, isn't it funny that someone always seems to drop from tournaments after losing a game early on and then suddenly has shit to do? Unless they're winning every game, they do seem to keep playing. Okay, chat, I've already told you that I've been subscribed to Dropbox for 12 years. Can you believe that? Dropbox. It's great software. Okay, it is great software. It automatically uploads my pictures from my phone to my PC. It's called Dropbox. You should look it up. Okay, I've had it since like round 2 of updates or something like that. The logo looks like this, you know what I mean? This is the logo. It's really nice. It's really cool. Look at that. I just think, you know, if we're going to start saying anything, if we're going to start leaving comments on posts about anyone, just remember that Dropbox is one of the best softwares and I fully endorse it, okay? I used to invite my friends and you used to get 500 megabits every time you got a friend to sign up. I've never paid for it. And I've got like 12 gig. You know what I mean? You start with 2. I've got like 12.5 gig. All right, maybe I'll send my invite code. Get some extra megabits in my Dropbox. Yeah, I'm going to the LGT, but I'm just going to go to Vegas today because I've lost the game. I mean, I've got a flight to catch. You know what I mean? Not that I know because I've been blocked by the one and only. But, you know, thought I'd just mention Dropbox. I love Dropbox. These jokes are stolen from Parasocial. They were not. You know? Isn't it crazy that you go to one of the largest events in the UK? Wait, I've just been messaged. I've just been messaged by my good friend. My good friend, thank you for sending these through. Let me just have a look. Thank you, dude. Appreciate you. I'm not going to dox who you are. Also, thank you, second person who just sent it. Let me just pull them up so we don't dox who we are. So we've got a UKTC email. You have not locked me out. I have not locked you out. I've opened the door. One sec, chat. Well, that's crazy. Maybe because the keys were in the door and the door was open. Jack, she doesn't know how to open the door. She was like, my key didn't work. I was like, yeah, my keys are in the door, but the door is open. Gets tabled. Oh shit, my oven is on. Yeah, isn't it crazy? You know, chat, I've dropped from events before and I've like been open about it. But it's just like the line that does it to me. You know? If my name rhymes with believe in blocks. Believe in blocks. I love Minecraft. You know? Just fucking own it, bro. Stop dropping and then coming up with an excuse. Oh, I've got to go to LVO. Oh, there's a wildfire. Oh, my oven's on. Oh, I've left my keys in the door. Not you. Not you. Bleeding cocks. Nice. Nice. Oh man, I missed the drama already. You usually pad stuff out so much longer before getting onto it. I'll just get it out of the way. I've got a big segment to do. Alright, Stephen. I like it, yeah. Yeah.
Also,
what have you got to say?
what I have to say is, I've been at work since 9 o'clock and I've just finished. And who among us doesn't go to put a key in the door when you open the door? You do, don't you? And then
you could have left it at that, but now you're embarrassing yourself now. The door was open. I opened it before I started streaming because I knew you'd be locked out otherwise.
Bye.
Bye.
Cows there.
Imagine working like a loser. I know, right?
Yeah, no,
Imagine. I'm just over here doing the hardest job in the world. Don't you think? You being a YouTuber, being a live stream. I'm live right now. It is the hardest job. Look how much I'm like grafting. Don't look at me like that. She's calling bullshit. Yeah. Where am I? Right, I get it now. Yeah, I agree. Shouldn't have dropped after round 2 just because I lost. You're the hardest job in the world. You're a mother of these children in chat. Okay. UKTC says everyone get in here. Then Rug Paul saying can't upload events that happen at the same time. Blocks dropped after getting tabled at the big event. That's true. Brennan, thank you for the 5 gifted, dude. Brennan, thanks so much for the 5 gifted. I really appreciate it. What's up? What?
Gifted members.
The nail polish, the purple one, to the left. To the left, to the left. Or did I put it on the table? You got it. There it is. Thank you for the 5 gift to pay my US tariff. Thank you for the extra 10%. Right, UKTC TO newsletter. Changes to UKTC season 25-26. Says 40k season growth and every increase rate will be implemented. The following changes to UKTC season. This ensure that all attendees attending an event which is submitted results to UKTC knows their experience is being safeguarded. And the TOs are signed up to comply with some very minimal baselines. These are common sense and detailed below with a short piece of explanatory text. Players with lifetime bounds to the UKTC are not permitted to attend UKTC ranked events. There's very few of these, it's largely not a problem. If a player is in attendance at an event, we will notify the TO and discuss this on a case-by-case basis. Fine. Players given red cards at UKTC events must be reported to the UKTC. Okay, fine. Right, need page 2. Participation in the UKT is free for attendees and TOs alike, and we intend to keep it this way. In order to do so, we'll be implementing a restriction on tokens granted to events on the same weekend as UKTC Super Majors. Only approving one-day events. Two-day events will be required to avoid date clashes with official events. So there it is. Fucking black and white, bro. In black and white, we'll be implementing a restriction on tokens granted to events on the same weekend as UKTC. If it was like, if it was the next city, I'd be like, okay, yeah, fair enough, a bit awkward. But you are actively saying when you run your event in Edinburgh, I can't run an event in Isle of Wight and submit it to UKTC. Don't you think that's a little fucking dumb? Don't you think that's a little fucking stupid? Basically, boycott UKTC if the actual pool is nonsense. Look, I've got out there and said UKTC just run bad events in general. If you want to boycott over theirs, that's on you, not me. But like... oh my lord. Are they blaming the fact that it's free? Well, it's not free to participate in the UKTC. It's just free to submit it to their personal rankings that ups the ante of their events. You know? So, actually embarrassing. Actually embarrassing. You know what, chat? I might run a 2-day event every weekend that UKTC is. And we'll make the Hellstorm tournament circuit. And I'll run it over the road at a nicer venue. With free food. How about that? So there you go. There you go. It's black and white from their own email. Thank you, anonymous lovely boy, for sending it through. Sorry for doxing. The anonymous lovely boy for sending it through. Appreciate you. You were here first. Now you can't run your event the same day because we said so. Yeah, literally. Literally, you have to avoid all of our events and every other event in the UK as well. Can you make sure the final is played next to a basketball game? Yeah, deal. Deal. Why not? Actually embarrassing. Actually embarrassing behavior. This is what we call anti-competitive, you know? This is what the FTC was known for in the US. Not anymore. Actual scumbags. Actual scumbags. What's the logic on that? It's like anti-competition rulings, you know what I mean? It's like, you have to play by our rules or you don't play. You know? Like I said, you could be running an event in fucking the Isle of Skye or whatever it's called. The Skye. The island that's right at the top of Scotland, and I could run one at the bottom of England, but I could not submit my event to the UKTC because I'd be clashing, you know? Because as per their rules. Actual embarrassment. That is so embarrassing. They are so scared of people going to other events on the same weekend as theirs that they're like not allowing you to be involved anymore. Typical UKTC. Just remember, chat. They're the ones that he is the one that ran the LGT with foam. Okay, remember that. Just whenever you think of the UKTC, just think of this image, okay? Just remember this image. Same guy. Anyway, I've had enough of talking about him. Now. Sorry, mate, the UKTC had a stream today. You'll have to get off the airwaves. Oh, you are so true. Oh, bro. I'm fucking fucking mute. Like, what are they gonna do? Fucking mute my... What are they gonna do? Cut my mic! Not gonna lie, tuned into the LGC streams this week and I was expecting a little something more grandiose than Leisure Centre. Bro, that's what they are all in. That's what they're all in. They're in fucking gym halls every time. I still remember the last one I went to where I completely swore them off. I'd already sworn them off, but someone was like, take my ticket and come with me. And I was like, fine. Okay, you are a friend of mine. I'll do that. I was playing, and behind me was Big C, and there was a big curtain next to us because we're in a gym hall, and Big C's got his beautiful Storm Surge on the table because he's playing with the Storm Surge because he was like that back in the day. I beat it out of him since, but he was like that back in the day, you know. And the on the other side of the net, they're playing netball, so there's like balls hitting the net. And he's got his, like, Storm Surge here, and the net's here, and the balls are, like, almost touching. And it's just like, what are we doing? Why am I paying £70 to come stand in a gym hall with tables that are too low, with food that's too expensive, with drinks that are too expensive, to almost have beautiful models destroyed because there's netball next door? Nah, I'm alright. So yeah, someone was gonna message me, but yes, please do. So I'm gonna make I think I'm gonna try and make a calendar, an event calendar, of all the events that aren't UKTC. Make a public calendar on my website that are all the events that aren't UKTC related. So that's my plan. Cheers, Storm said he's crying. As long as he's crying collecting dust, you know what I mean? Not on the table. The prices of the tickets are damage to your lower back. Yeah, literally. Literally. Come to the Outpost where tables are fucking high. That is a problem, though, when I, like, criticize things like this. I am, like, direct competition, really. So I do have to be careful. But I do think a lot of the things that they're doing are pretty scummy. So, and again, like, my own personal grievances of just like, why am I paying this much money to stand in a gym hall when there's netball next door? You know what I mean? The obsession with running events in gym halls is ridiculous, but it's just because of price, chap. That's all it is. It's one of the cheapest places to hire. You know, it's an empty hall. You can't do much of it than play basketball and play Warhammer, it seems. So. I love how you're saying you beat it out of Big C, but yeah, you fully got him addicted to Gundam Crack. He got me addicted to Gundam Crack. I beat out him running bad lists. I make him play good lists now. Look at he's running 2-1 and 3-3, like 4-1 and 3-2s and stuff. He's like, where am I? Why am I so high in the leaderboard? I'm like, I'm dizzy. That's what happens now. Any talk as to why Stephen Box dropped after game 2? He played against Orks, then got smashed 145 and left. Imagine getting smashed 145 to Orks. Imagine losing 145 to Orks, bro. Did they get nerfed again? Anyway, yeah, I don't know, personally. I don't know. I imagine, but actually, you know what? I'm not going to give an opinion. All I'll say is, don't you think it's funny if you lose a game, you immediately drop, and then go and charge money to talk about sportsmanship? You know what I mean? I'm sure it's fine at the table, but like, there's something about sportsmanship to your opponent not getting a proper match next game because you dropped. Anyway, Dropbox is a great cloud storage option, I think. Not sponsored. Dropbox, if you're watching, I would love to do some ads for you because I love Dropbox. It was a split to Commandos, made him too good. That's true. Fucking Commandos being able to split into 2 units. Actual crazy. That'd score them another 65 points, I think. I don't know, bro, but you can, there's one specific person who asked me, I can't remember who it was. All the VT players I bet GTs or UKTC do that. It says Fermion. I did not say that. Just to kind of, you know, take a look. If people just keep losing and then drop in, maybe they're not very good at Warhammer. I don't want to just turn into a rattling stream, though. You know what I mean? I don't want to just berate people on, you know, comments and hearsay. And this person said this and this person said that. But factually, this isn't the first time. Last time there was a 7-minute rant in a car at Gone Midnight about them attending more events than anyone else, but they were still dropping from every event when they lost a game. So, yeah, anyway. Their Instagram's been cleared from what I've been told from all the posts about LGT bar one. So yeah, take that what you will, you know what I mean? Take that with what you will. Sky's on the table next to me for round 2. Sky's lovely. Sky's a lovely lad. Yeah, I really like Sky. I've got a lot of time for him. We played on stream before. I can't remember who won, but we had a great time. He is a really, really nice guy. Really, really nice guy. Naive, but nice. He's funny. So, chat, we're gonna look at the Dawn of War 4 trailer because I've not watched it yet, and then I thought we could do some drama. We could do some more drama, but it's gonna be fun. If you weren't here at the start stream, you won't know what I mean, but we'll see. Whenever any of my team are up against them day 2, we expect to get by. Sometimes they don't drop till that morning. It can be very frustrating. Yeah. It's if there's a track record for it, you know, like it's everyone. It seems to be like everyone at tournaments are aware of it, and then people online and watch their videos and suck up to them. Don't know yet. They don't see it yet. Scary is what it feels like to chew 5 gum. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And they didn't even make 5 gum anymore. So it's kind of nice, but it's kind of getting old. It's getting on a bit. 70 quid for 5 games. Wait, 4 games. I had PT game 2. Did a photo, gave me cool stickers. He's cool. Yeah, he's a good lad. Chat, the Dawn of War trailer's out, bro. Did you see the new gameplay trailer? Back to War. Back to War.
Peggy 18.
Let's have a look. Yo! Whose banner will rise? Oh, glorious Blood Ravens. What I want to critique, though, if I can just stop here, why are they fucking orange? This isn't reliquary red. You should have asked. And where's the shoulder? Where's the black knee pad? Where's the black knee pad at, bro? What is going on? This isn't lore accurate. Why didn't they ask me, the most famous Blood Raven player on the planet, about the colour scheme you should have gone with?
Enemy shall know fear. Capturing power source. The orks attack! Kill them all! Here we go! Roar! Tech priest leader sighted.
In the Omnissiah's name! Unleash the fury of the machine!
Wow.
Purge them to the last!
There's quite a lot of units, you know what I mean? There's quite a lot of different units here. Blue Ravens have the most inconsistent colour scheme rules known to man, to be fair. Look. It's known to the Imperium of Man, actually. But, you know. We've got a whole bunch of units. We've got Redemptor, we've got Outriders, we've got Invictors, my brother. We've got the Intercessors. We've also got Chapter Keep, Chapel Barracks, Sanctum, Armory, Strategium, Thunderhawk Relay, Tarantula Turret, and Hammerfall Bunker. So a lot of these probably keeping in theme with the original Dawn of War, but with a few new ones. We've got different types of turrets. We've got the Hammerfall, obviously. The Thunderhawk Relay sounds fun. That sounds fun. We've got Storm Boys, Stormbucks.
Vehicle engaging.
The advert look cool as well. Yeah, fuck him.
All shall die!
I know it's work in progress, but those scarabs look absolutely fucking shit. It's a work in progress, chat, but it's like I'm trying to do one of them animations on Photoshop, you know what I mean? Where I can't afford to animate, so I just drag it around Photoshop. It's just an image.
All shall die!
Monolith looks nuts.
Withdraw.
Fall back.
Do not submit to defeat. Fight to the last.
So they're showing most of the units in this, like. Yeah! Jump that gap. Yeah, they've got drop pods with storm bolters, even though they just took them out of the game. I saw that comment. Yeah, funny, hilarious.
Lock shields. For the Emperor.
It looks like we had a generic scout captain there as well. Generic Phobos captain. See here, I don't think that's Cyrus. Oh, it could be. It might be, actually. Ignore me. There's quite a lot of units to play with there. That's really cool. Coming 2026. We still don't actually know when it's coming out. This trailer made me wonder if it's James Workshop mandate to use the box art colour schemes, because yet another Mars admech scheme in a game where the Marines are also red and green. Yeah, they will definitely be focusing on like the box art versions, because they're the most recognizable when you walk into a store, you know? What you have to remember is whilst it's its own game, the point of it is to get more people in the shop. That's really like just how it is. Like we saw with Space Marine 2, everyone went out and bought Space Marines. They wanted to be the most recognizable, but I imagine this would have been Ultramarines had Dawn of War not been a thing. You know what I mean? If this was like a brand new game, it'd be Ultramarines, just like that other app that they're bringing out, the Warhammer 40,000 Supremacy. This would be Ultramarines 100%, because people will go in and be like, "Where are the Blood Ravens?" And they'll be like, "These are them, the Ultramarine box." We know because we paint models, but like people don't know this. They'll be like, "Can I use these as Blood Ravens?" Or might not even ask, I might not buy them. So, yeah. Let's have another look. I want to have another nosy. It's just disappointing it's always Mars. Yeah, fair. So, Blade Guard looking absolutely epic. Invicta. Thunderhawk. There's so much to look at. That is just like that is a wonderful shot, to be fair. You got like Storm Boys as well. Storm Boys looking cool. You got the Death Dreads. You got the Dragoons. The Knight. The Knight looks really like... I've always think the Castellan looks quite short and stumpy. It doesn't look stumpy there. It doesn't look stumpy. It looks really like really well scaled. Whose banner will rise? I will say the set piece looks really good. Like the terrain of it all looks really, really cool. I really like it. It looks lankier, yeah, definitely. But yeah, they look so orange. It looks so weird compared. You know, and no knee pad. No painted knee pad is like a crime in my opinion.
No fear.
But yeah, you got Outriders here. I wonder if there's a character. Look, there's Terminators, Blade Guard, Incursors as well by the looks of it. There's actually quite a lot.
Capturing power source.
I'm just trying to look at like this, like screenshot. Look, wait, like Incursors or Infiltrators. I'm not sure which. You got the Tarantula there, look. That looks sick. That Tarantula looks amazing. That looks really nice. I like that a lot. You got what I imagine this is like the Thunderhawk relay, like the chapter base. So it looks like they've redesigned all the buildings, which is a bit of a shame because I think the original ones are so iconic. But you got like, yeah, you got the Tarantula and the Hammerfall bunker is like a proper thing. And then that looks, might be a relay, might be a strategic point there.
The orks attack!
What have we got here? Plasma generator, probably a vehicle relay, I imagine. A machine cult.
Kill them all! Here we go! Roar! Tech priest leader sighted.
In the Omnissiah's name, unleash the fury of the machine.
It's just like, again, just like the set pieces look really good. Like the Terminators look fucking sick. I actually really like the white helmets because obviously they got bone shoulder pads, and I've always done like veterans with bone helmets. The white bone looks really nice, which is annoying because I don't want to repaint everything.
Purge them to the last! Vehicle engaging!
The orcs are bad moons rather than box art goths. Are they not box art bad moons? Have I just fever dreamed that? That might be another problem as well because of the bad moons. There were always bad moons in Dawn of War. They're always yellow. You know? That might be another issue. Kind of like, we have to use Blood Ravens because it's Blood Ravens and they're from Dawn of War. And we have to use bad moons because Gorguts was always yellow. Each being 7th. We haven't just fever dreamed it.
We shall know no fear.
Oh, it looks so good. Mikey's Invicta holding his own in the middle. Yeah, spiritually, my Invicta's in this game. 2014. Well, I suppose that's when I was like quite new to the game. A couple of years in.
All shall die.
Withdraw!
Fall back!
Do not submit to defeat.
Like, oh, I've missed it. Is it that one? Yeah, like, look at all the different types of units. You got the 2 types of gladiators. You haven't got the Melter version. Oh, you do. Or is it the Valiant and the other one? Valiant and the other one. You've got the 2 dreadnoughts. You've got the Invictors. You've got the Repulsor. And you got all the buildings in the back look. So I imagine this is like the Reliquary. Blade Guard, all the infantry. It looks really cool.
Fight.
You got all of the Admech. So you got all the Corpuscari. It looks like more Skitari versus Adeptus Mechanica. So I don't see any breaches. There they are. The Reaper, that's it. That's the one I use. I just don't figure out what it's called. You got breaches, so ignore me. You got the knight, which is very fun. You got the Scorpius disintegrators. You haven't got the transports by the looks of it. Yeah, I'm not seeing any transports barring drop pods, you know. No rhinos. I mean, the repulsor would technically be a transport. Got dune crawlers. Orks, you can see we've got squig bombs, death dreads, storm boys maybe. I can't see too much outside of that. Oh, my zoom doesn't work on this one. We've seen this clip already from the first trailer. More Marines, beautiful. More Space Marines. Oh, gorgeous. Gorgeous. We got eradicators, bro. Look at it. We got them fucking eradicators. Beautiful. And then the executioner. What a great time.
Run them through! Eradicating! Lock shields! For the Emperor!
Gorgeous. Gorgeous, bro. I'm so hyped for it. I'm so hyped for it. It looks so good. It looks so good. I'm so fucking excited for it. I'm so worried this game's going to be overwhelming to play with so many units. I think initially it might be quite overwhelming. I think that's the problem with like modern RTS. There's a bit of a thing about like classic RTS as being quite simple just because of the age. And the limitations they have, but they can do so much more now, where it might be quite overwhelming initially, but they'll definitely like bring it on. You know, they'll bring it on in like waves while you're playing. But yeah, it looks fucking sick, bro. It looks so good. I'm just excited. I'm just so excited to play it. I'm so excited. I also hope I get support. I'm the fucking I'm the guy. I'm the Bloodraven guy. King Art Games, if you need some help colouring those Blood Ravens, just give us a shout. Give us a shout. I've painted thousands. I painted thousands of them, bro. So, it looks so good. Looks so good. It looks fucking sick. Take me a while to get back into the swing of Dawn of War Remastered. Yeah, fair. Right, chat. Let's move on to the next section because I'm running a little late. Let me see what I can do. Okay, let me start event. I think that's working. Maybe. Chat, I need a guinea pig. I need a guinea pig. I need someone to join this stage. Nigel, you're my new guinea pig. Can I just drag you? Invite to speak. Nigel, come say hi. I dare you. Yo, Nigel, that works. Thank you. Would you like to say anything to your fans?
No.
Cool. Thanks, mate. Appreciate you. Right, chat. Chat, we've got something set up here. Look, I get accused a lot about starting drama. Okay? Me, of all people. People have the audacity to say I'm starting drama. Whenever I come in and be like, guys, look at this thing that happened. They're like, Mikey, you started drama, okay? And look, I always say I never start drama. I merely talk about the drama, okay? I merely talk about the drama. I merely bring the drama to you, whether you want to think it's drama or not, you know? But sometimes when I talk about that drama, I feel like this. This is literally me. I'm trying to talk about my opinion. You know? I'm trying to talk about my opinion and I'm shamed for it and I'm locked up. And maybe this is what you feel like, you know. Maybe you've got some drama or a take or an opinion about Warhammer, and you're like, oh, if anyone hears this, I would be like stoned by the crowds. Or maybe you've got an opinion and you don't have a platform to speak, okay? And you were like, if I was a YouTuber like Mikey, I could start drama. Well, I'm offering that opportunity to you. We have a stage in the Discord, !Discord in chat. We have a stage in the Discord that you can join right now, okay? And I can invite you to speak on the platform that you deserve, that you've been denied your entire life, about your Warhammer hot takes, okay? You might be like, I think the Magnus the Red meme saying he did nothing wrong is mega cringe. You know what? I'd agree with you, and you can come in and tell me that you think it's mega cringe. So all you have to do is join the Discord, join the stage, and then you can tell me anything about Warhammer and your hot take about it, and give me your opinion and explain it as in a little debate me bro moment, and I can either agree or I can disagree, I can ask you questions about it, and then you in chat, who is not having the opinion, can tell them if their opinion is shit and they're actually idiots for it, or you can tell them that it's fucking sick, I really liked it, okay? So I got 2 people in the chat now. If you've got an opinion, I think you can like wave your hand, you can like put your hand up. So if you'd like to try that, if you're in the stage area, but you are not allowed to have an opinion in the chat. You're only allowed to have an opinion in the Discord stage. Okay, so let me just explain that in 1 second. Listening to I need your hot takes in the stage now. Okay, so we've got 3 noddies. Right, our first contestant, okay? So when you join, if you are cringe, I will ban you, okay? I'm going to invite you to speak. Come in and say hello. Hello, can you say your name or username, and tell me what Warhammer army you play, and then your hot take. I feel like that information's really important.
Hi chat, I'm Decknell. I play main Necrons, second main
Necrons, and
third main Harlequins,
wow.
4th main Dark Angels.
This is embarrassing. Okay.
5th main Drukhari.
Why would you ask me that?
You've thrown me off now. You've thrown me off.
Decknell, welcome to the stream. Appreciate you. Thanks for coming on. Would you like to give me your hot take? What's your Warhammer hot take today? Just one. I know you have a few.
My hot take is 40k as it stands isn't dull or flavorless. People are just go with the hype and the general consensus. I will concede that it's not a war game anymore and it is a board game.
I mean, is that not another hot take? Do you think it's not dull and flavorless? People just follow that hype, but also it's not a war game. That's kind of like 2. That's 2 hot takes.
Okay, so chat can cope with that one.
Okay,
but the game has.
Tell me a bit more. Like why? What do you think? Like people think it's not got any flavor, but you disagree. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, I think a lot of codexes are flavorful, but a lot of the community would like to have what's the best thing ever and will not explore their own codex outside of faction specialists. Faction specialists will get the most out of the codex, and we've even seen today, less than half an hour ago, that someone just won LGT for the 3rd time in a row with Veterans of the Long War, not Renegade Raiders, which everyone who plays CSM will say Renegade Raiders is the way to go.
Sure.
Whereas this guy just won with Veterans of the Long War. There is flavor and quirkiness to the factions. It's just not on the surface level, and the detachments go a long way to helping this. I do think some codexes were a bit of stumble when it comes to the 4 Chaos Gods. I think it was a mistake restricting demon usage to one detachment of your 6 instead of just let me take Skybrand in every World Eater detachment, right? I think that was a bit of a letdown. But yeah, I think there is a lot of, if you're guard and you want to live your artillery dreams, well, they gave you a whole detachment about artillery.
Sure.
Knock yourself out.
Okay. Okay. So
I think it's there. It's just the community will go, oh, I want to play guard. All right, here's your list. Take that to a GT or your local.
So you think people try and play meta lists, strong lists, competitive lists, and then complain that there's no flavor in the list because it's like, well, I don't feel the flavor because I'm running all of the best units and not really thinking about like the lore of the
learning for themselves and thinking up something themselves. And you might not win, but my Eldar army is 90% Harlequins. They're hot trash, but they're really fun to paint and play, right? They're a bit quirky. They're not too strong. Yeah, I probably could be doing better if I ran 15 fire dragons.
Yeah.
But I don't want to run 15 fire dragons.
So, okay. I like your argument. Is that your hot take?
I think it is because I see.
I don't
think,
bro. I don't think it's that
flavorless
hot
and dull all the time.
Oh
really?
well, they do say
I
that.
think the underlying
I don't think
cause
that's hot.
is not a hot take.
I think you're saying that well, people take competitive lists and then don't think it matches the lore of the army. I'm like, okay, we just pointed out people are dumb. Is that a hot take?
Yeah, that's the hot take.
Okay, I think it was. I don't know. I mean, chat is more than welcome to decide. Type 1 in chat if you think that's a hot take, and then type 2 if you think it's kind of cold, like weak take, or type 3 if you just agree. If you're just like, hell yeah, lukewarm. Take colder than my dead grandma, said Mercenary, which is
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there's a lot of twos in chat, bro. It's not looking good. So you are going to get banned from the Discord for a week now, I'm afraid, because that was cringe.
Thank God.
Now, it's a take. I don't think it's a hot take. I think it's kind of, ice cold. Ice cold. All right. That's what we say. Do you remember that one? Am I showing my age? That was Outcast.
No. You old.
All right, cool. Anyway, Deck, thanks for joining us.
All right.
What was your other one? I can't remember.
It's a board game, not a.
Oh yeah, okay. We'll explore that one in a bit. If you want to rejoin, you can talk about that one.
Yeah.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for coming in with your lukewarm take. I appreciate that. Nice start. All right, there you go. That's your first hot take. You said it was ice cold. It was a bad hot take because it's just obvious. Of course, everyone who thinks there's flavor and then plays a meta list is like, well, where's my flavor gone? It's like, well, you're trying to play meta list, bro. What did you expect? All right, part 2. If you're in the Discord, make sure you raise your hand if you'd like to join. And I'll drag you onto I'll invite you to speak. All you have to do is press raise your hand and then you'll be able to join. We've had someone here who's been sat waiting very patiently. I've invited you to speak. Come in, say hello, and give me your hot take.
Hello, chat. How are we doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing all right. So, hot take off the bat.
Wait.
I'm going to say
who you are. What's your main army? We need that information.
Fermion. I'm not going to say my real name, but I have about 7 armies. Should I list all of them all?
Just what's your favorite? The main one. What are you painting recently?
I switch depending on the tournament.
Okay. What did you play in last tournament?
Like 4 a month. LGT. I took Marines.
Okay. Cool. Based. Cool. Anyway, what's your hot take?
There's no such thing as a competitive list or taking meta units, right?
Oh, okay.
You're just bad, right? You can go to a tournament with the most narrative list and win.
Sure. That is...
Because my teammate, takes a Dawn of War 1 themed guard list, still goes positive. Wow.
That is hard. So you're saying everyone is saying you can literally play any army in the world, any combination. If you don't do well with it, skill issue.
Yeah, remember when Deathwatch won LVO? Well, they were like 20-30% win rate. They're still getting buffs.
I don't know if they were 20-30% win rate when they won LVO. They were pretty good.
They were down there, but like no one played them.
Sure.
Imperial Agents won a GT at one point. It's all about skill.
The Imperial Agents did win. Which GT was that one? Which one did they win? Can you know?
It's like last year. I don't even remember. That army's that army is the definition of like dementia.
Yeah, someone, because I put about a video like 2 days ago, and I was like, Drukhari is the most disappointing codex. And people were like, what about Agents? And I was like, Agents not a codex. That's just like Imperial Allies tax. So you have to pay £35 to open it in your app. You know? Is that
Yeah,
really
the army
a
rule
codex?
is, hey, you can take this in other armies, you know?
Yeah.
You don't need this.
So, can you talk to me about your friend's list? Like, roughly, what did it look like?
So he takes a lot of Lehman Russes. If he feels like it, he'll take a super heavy of his choice. And the rest is just guard, like Sentinels and guard.
Wow.
He doesn't even take solar. He might take Creed, but that's about it.
Just Cadians. Just raw dogging some Cadians.
Raw dog and Cadians. Maybe he puts a Catachans in there because he likes poking them out once in a while. But no like Tauruses or Chimeras. Just classic units.
Not even like one Rogel Dawn. Not one Rogel Dawn
So
battle tank.
we actually had to force him to buy a Rogel Dawn, and even when he bought it, he bought a conversion kit for it.
Okay.
And that was like 2 weeks ago. This guy was running that list all of 10th.
And he didn't take it to LGT, not one.
No, he wasn't able to go to LGT at work.
Oh, right, okay. So he went to a recent GT. How many places in the GT that went positive? I'm just trying to like break down the thought process of you could take any
normally,
army.
So Darksphere GT in, I think last one he went to, it's normally between 45 to 60 players at one point. They had 80 players.
GT, yeah, sure.
But it is, I will say, because it's in London, we have some of the biggest names, like Gustavo's goes to that GT regularly. We have loads of big names that come to that one. He went, I think, 2-1. And then he had to drop out because he had to go home. But again, at RTTs, he's going 2-1. He did have, at the last one we went to, he did go 1-2, unfortunately.
Okay.
That's his fault for taking the worst Baneblade variant.
Oh, well, that kind of contradicts your point. If you can win with any army.
Well, the problem was
the
turret was too long to fit through the specific terrain.
Okay.
So you couldn't go anywhere.
I thought you'd walk yourself into a corner. I was like, oh, bro, you kind of shitting on your own point.
No, we all went down. We car shared to this brand new RTT we never went to, and it was like custom terrain. And he put down his big super heavy, and it doesn't go anywhere.
Oh, okay. That is embarrassing to me.
Yeah.
I think if looking at, like, understanding your hot take, I think maybe we can look past. He took a unit he couldn't move around the board. That one time, we can let him pass that. So you're saying if you went to a GT with Marines, because that's what you've just taken, what detachment did you run?
So I ran Shadowmark, but I ran stuff like Reavers. I ran like lieutenants and Phobos armor, alone.
Okay. Yeah.
Not the combi one, right?
Yeah.
I did run the combi one because I have a custom converted one.
It's also great.
Loads of like Vanguard vets, 5-man JPIs, like really fluffy. I tried to limit the Centurions. I'm not running like 12.
Sure.
I ran an Invicta initially before the tournament, and I switched last minute just to 3 Centurions because I could not finish painting the Invicta. It's annoying to paint that thing with the Marine inside.
I don't know. Yeah, I've painted 3 of those bad boys.
But it is fun because it does play well when you run that thing off the board and destroy a Rhino.
Yeah.
And then your van vets come in and clean up whatever's inside.
And then clean up.
Because it can advance the charge.
It's good. Yeah, it's very good. So here's a random question then. If you could win with any list, what if you took Shadowmark, but like exclusively like 60 intercessors and 3 land raiders? Do you think you could go positive at a tournament?
Intercessors?
Yeah. You just said you could win with any list.
Land raiders.
A narrative list, 60 intercessors and land
That's not
raiders.
really Raven Guard though.
Okay.
Land raiders?
Yeah, well, I mean, sneaky land raiders that they can't hear because
What?
the engines are
No,
they're on
no.
like green eco mode.
I mean, right now it's a pure infantry list, right?
Sure.
I think I could definitely chuck the Centurions and just go for pure mission play units.
Okay.
I think that's definitely a good build. It's like Votan, so like my Votan, you can run pure infantry and actually do well. Like you don't have to take the land forts.
Sure.
It's a viable build to run like pure infantry. You can run your Grimnir wizards, people will actually struggle against that army.
Interesting. Okay. I can see.
And also,
your
it's
point,
great
yeah.
fun pulling up to a GT or a super major, and your opponent goes, "What the fuck have you put on the table?"
What does this actually do? Because I've never seen it before.
Yeah,
That's the thing, because that's a lot of like Warhammer, a lot of winning Warhammer is understanding what your opponent can do and what you can do against it. And if you're like, yeah, here's Shadow Mark that's not really been played that much, and I've got like Reavers knocking about. Do people even know what Reavers do? They're choppy.
oh, they're so good, mate. They are
Yeah.
ridiculous. So on UKTC terrain, they can't be screened from the wall. Like you can't inch the wall against them. They can take off OC from the other side of the wall because they have a 3-inch anti-OC aura.
Sure.
So let's say someone puts their scouts on the objective. You don't even have to
Yeah,
charge them. You just stand 3 inches away.
You can just
They don't
walk,
get the
walk near
objective.
'em. I love that.
They go up and down. They deep strike. It's insane. They advance and charge and shadow mark.
I'm trying to think of like an interesting competitive list, not a competitive, sorry, a narrative list that I think is just awful. Like it has no legs whatsoever. But I guess the whole point of like detachments is to be quite narrative. So if you build into it, what you're trying to say is that you don't need the list, the build, but as long as you're building towards the narrative of your detachment, you're actually going to be building towards the the strength of it as well.
Yeah. So like the best example of that, I can like the counterpoint to that would be taking like an ultramarine list in Anvil and being shocked when you lose. So like I played against that guy where he was taking Calgar ultramarines in Anvil, and he kind of lost because he was trying to play that aggressive gladiator style.
Yeah,
just
doesn't
fell
work.
flat.
Doesn't work. Okay.
Sisters and Custodes, if you're able to play well with like an army like Drukhari or Eldari, you can actually probably make that work because it's the same sort of style of fast melee. They're a bit weaker,
Sure.
but it still works, and you have a lot more models on the board.
Yeah. Okay. There was something else you said. I'm trying to remember. Oh, what was it you said? You said something before we started talking about Shadowmark that I was going to bring up. Oh, I'm not good at debating, bro. Anyway, it sounds interesting.
Land Raiders?
No, it was before the Land
Can't
Raiders. I can't remember what we said, but there's something I was like, oh, that's interesting. I want to bring that up. Never mind. I like the hot take. I can't exactly like I said, like the realization of going if you build towards the detachment, which inherently makes you narrative. I think it's easier to do with like Space Marines because I think they're like more obvious of like the first company task force. It's like okay, yeah, it takes Terminators. You know, some of them.
I can't think of an army that has a detachment that doesn't fit narratively with the units it buffs.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like maybe like Eldar or something. Maybe has one that's like kind of not specific, but it's quite generic. Like especially like the generic ones, like Gladius, you can kind of run as anything. Ultramarines run it best.
Isn't that the purpose though? Where it's like, hey, this is Gladius Task Force. It's Codex Marines.
Yeah, for sure. So, no, I like it. Good hot take. Thank you for bringing it forward. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna let chat vote on it now though, if that's okay. So best of luck. If,
yeah, leave
if
it
not,
to people.
It's going to be a ban. So chat, if type 1 if you think it's a hot take, if type 2 if you think it's a lukewarm, cold take, ice cold, and type 3 if you just kind of agree. You just kind of agree that maybe people are just cringe and they just need to play narratively, and then they will be better. They will be good. They don't need to take the list. Oh, it was the Veterans of the Long War. That's what I was asking. That's what I was going to bring up. Because obviously,
I met Liam actually over the weekend.
Yeah, so obviously most people would play Renegade Raiders, but would you say his list is a narrative for Veterans of the Long War with like random bikes and stuff like that?
I mean, yeah, because Chaos Bikers are just what Chaos. I mean, anything can be Veterans of the Long War because it is Gladius for CSM, in my opinion. It's hi, we're Chaos Space Marines.
Is it not more
or
based
traitors
around
that
like?
just-
Is it not like more like their equivalent of like First Company Task Force and more like the veterans are like the Terminators and stuff like that?
I wouldn't think so. The strats don't specifically call that out.
Okay.
Maybe you could say veterans, yes, but
Sure.
technically, isn't like the
whole
ability
army is
for
basically
legionaries,
veterans. Yeah.
Veterans of the Long War. I think that's the
Yeah.
name for it.
Yeah. Okay. You got a bit of a mix. A lot of people agree with you, but a lot of people think it's a hot take. So great job. You're not getting banned from the Discord this week.
Yay!
Fabian, thanks for your time, dude. Really appreciate it.
All good. Thank you.
Have a nice evening, buddy. Appreciate you.
Bye bye.
All right. Okay. There we go. We've got a hot take. Everyone just kind of cringe. All right, that's what he said. He basically said, if I can sum it up, everyone's really shit at Warhammer except for me because I play narrative. That's what I heard. Okay. We've got another lovely chap who wants to come in with a hot take. So come on down. Come on down. Hello. Hi. How we doing?
Doing all right. I'm Brennan. I'm from the U.S., so if the connection's bad, I apologize. Also, I have to get back to work soon.
Okay,
so
let's make it
I'm
quick.
listening to Mikey at work. So real quick, I don't know if it's a hot take or cold take, but if I could get the 40K community, like if they could only have one demand of GW, for me, it would be that GW has to, if they've ever had rules for something, continue to have rules for it. Everyone gets to play with their models. That would be my one demand that I think all 40K, like the 40K community should have at the top of their list of demands for GW.
Against legends is always well. What would you consider legends as like having rules? Because obviously, like legends they do technically have rules and they do technically have points, but they are obviously like not supported as much as like the current, let's call it, in rotation models, you know. Are we saying everything should have legends rules, or just everything should have like match play, perfectly balanced rules all the time?
I think they should try to match play it. Would it cost them a bit, like, you know, would you have to staff a couple more rules writers to try and figure all that out? And it might make it a bit more difficult, yes. But it's more important than balance to have everyone get to play with the toys that they made. I think it's just like when they have rules for something that has, like, I don't know, a captain with a thunder hammer or something that used to exist, and then suddenly they don't, and because they don't make a model for it or whatever. But it's like people converted, people hobbied, people built and painted something, and now they just don't get to play with that thing. I think that's the number one travesty. So I think that's my opinion. Is like that's the number one priority is you should always get to play with your toys, and then everything else falls behind that.
That's quite funny because under my desk, I did not set this bit up, everyone. Under my desk, I have a toy box. I call it my toy box. It's not a toy box. It's a box of Warhammer. And this is a bunch of Warhammer that no longer has any rules. or is legends. So this is like all my old Blood Ravens and stuff like that. It's just chucked it. You can see there's a Leviathan Dreadnought right here in a toy box. And as you can see, I haven't set this up. I didn't know Brennan was going to come up with this, but it's full of like tech marines and dreadnoughts and stuff like that I can't use anymore, and storm cannons and bikes. And that's just under my desk now, collecting dust. It's not on a shelf, it's not in a box, it's never going to see the table again, unless like there's a way I can convert it to be something else. But yeah, I don't know how I can't exactly disagree with
that.
That wasn't the bit that I think it's just there.
And I think your point about legends is that most things, when they go into legends, everyone goes, oh, well, you can't use that at an event anymore. Yeah. And some people can, like, you know, they build and they paint, and then in 3 months time, they go to an event, and that's like everything culminates at that event for them. Like they don't have maybe a local gaming group or anything like that. Like the event is the thing.
Sure.
And if they built and painted something and they spent all this time, and then they're like going to go to that event, but their thing is in Legends, they can't use it. And then B, Legends usually means like by the next edition, it's not in Legends anymore. It's actually just gone. Like that's step one to being obsolete.
Yeah,
so anyway, that's why
it's almost like the letdown, the gentle letdown of like, it's okay, you can still play with them, and then in 3 years' time, it's kind of like, we didn't stand up for this one, and I said nothing, and now they're coming for me. You know?
Yeah, your librarian has Alzheimer's, and you're gonna have to say goodbye to them in a short while.
Yeah, I agree. So, I appreciate you've got no time, so thank you for your hot take. Appreciate you. I'm going to elaborate a bit more, but I'll let you go. Okay.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining. So yeah, so like, I suppose the only question is then regarding like Legends is kind of like the issue is that when units aren't made anymore and they still have rules, they can become quite competitive. And then we can be in a position, kind of like we saw a few years ago with like Chaplain Dreadnoughts and stuff, is that units are like really good, but you can't actually buy them, or they're out of stock, or they're not made anymore. But I think maybe we could like look at like, not just like, if something's too good, just nerf it so it's not as good anymore, make it worse, put up the points to where I think it can be disappointing if you are like a competitive player, you've just paid 3 of something and they don't make it, you just made 3 and then they make it really shit. But people who still have their models can actually like go ahead and like play with those models, even if they aren't the most optimized thing, right? So I don't disagree with Ben. I think everything should have rules in 40k for a long time. I think Legends, like he said, is a cop-out, but I would love to hear your opinion, chat. We haven't really seen Legend units get gone though, except for some fringe cases where they gave us a proxy list. Yeah, but we also have Legends is like still a relatively new idea. It's only a few years old, you know. When 11th edition comes around, I'd be very interested to see just how much of Legends is still Legends and isn't just like written out of the game, you know what I mean? But it's like, yeah, I agree. It's like, it's very disappointing when you buy stuff and then like a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, that it's just like unusable, or it's just like kind of frowned upon to be used. And I do think maybe everything should have match play rules, and even if the match play rules are there, even if they're shit, at least I can still play it, you know? So ask him how many events have played this year. I don't know if that's super relevant, to be honest. I don't know if like how many events. I mean, Brennan's coming in and said how many events he's played. He's coming to mine. He's going flying over to the UK to play another one of mine. I don't think how many events have played is relevant, because like what happens in events seeps out into the general gaming communities anyway. I've had this argument many a times in the past. So the problem with Legends is they half-assed it. There's all the stuff they didn't even bother adding. Yeah, it's like where they just like Gabriel Angelos had rules for like 5 years, and then they gave him rules like multiple times, rules in the White Dwarf, rules officially, and then just went, yeah, it's a captain in Terminator armor, and then you can't even run a captain in Terminator armor with a hammer anymore. You know, it's got a sword or a fist. So it's just like no rules whatsoever, you know? Yeah, it's just disappointing to see. So I think, chat, 1, is it a hot take? Is it a hot take? Should we have rules for everything ever made consistently? Do you agree? Or do you think it's a cold take? Do you think, yeah, I agree? 2. So 1, if you think it's a hot take, it's crazy. 2, if you think it's, if you agree. No, 2, if you think it's a cold take, we all agree. And 3, if you're kind of like in the middle, you know? Would you rather have generic weapons profiles or sacrifice some old weapons? I think generic or old weapons would work. You know, like I think if something's like really old, just make it really expensive, or just make the rules really big. But at least I can still play it. You know, I think most people kind of just like agree. You know, what I mean, they're kind of like in the middle. It's like, yeah, that'd be cool. A lot of people saying 3. We've had literally 1 of each. We've had a 1, a 2, and a 3. Okay. Right, we've got another one. A little bit of a riff-raff, this one. So everyone be ready. Everyone be ready. Okay. All right. Hello. Would you like to state your name and the army that you play, my friend?
Hello. My name is Pete, and I don't really collect any army because I have an incessant need to just kitbash everything that I can find.
Yo, it's Pete the Wargamer! If this is a TV show, the audience would applause right now. Chat, applause in chat. Go for it, go for it. All right, Pete,
thanks, guys.
Go on. Hit me with your hot take.
So I think mine's gonna be immediately walk back after I make it.
Nice, okay, we love that.
But
no backbone, no
so
spine.
I'll make the take and then I'll walk it back. So I think that people who care about lore are cringe.
Oh! Okay. Sorry.
Right, so I'm gonna walk it. I'm gonna walk it back.
Go for it.
Basically, it's less about the case that people who enjoy the lore, that's fine. If you like things like reading books, making a
Super chat
lore-friendly army. That's cool.
£7.45.
If you are to the point that you get upset because a little bit of lore's changed, or something gets retconned, or someone kind of decides to bring a completely different army that doesn't really follow the lore, then that's the cringe part. That's where you get really kind of it just kind of really grinds my gears. I think as someone who really enjoys building weird stuff, it kind of limits that. And I think especially new players, when they come into the game,
sure,
they can maybe join like a Reddit thread and someone's talking about, oh, this person, and like, I just want to paint my Marines in various different colors. Oh no, salamanders are this color. Ultramarines are always going to be this color.
It's like this. Sometimes they say like, it's this paint. It's like Mercrag blue. That's what you have to use.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of that on a minor level, and then on the big level is just when people kind of go crazy because there's been like there's been like changes to the lore, and I can understand that some people maybe get invested in that. I understand that people kind of feel like they want to know something. I don't know. I just don't really get that really intense reaction that people get when things change in the background. Personally.
Do you think there's like for you personally, do you think there's like a bar that's like, this is kind of okay and this is cringe, or is it just like anyone? It's like, you too invested in lore, mega cringe, get out? Or is it like a bar that you think you could set to be like, anything below this?
I guess it's, if you can enjoy the lore as much as you like, you can read up on it as much as you like, but as soon as you start telling other people what they can and can't do, or what they can and can't enjoy, that is immediately super cringe. If someone wants to build a Grey Knight army and say the Grey Knights, but then use normal Space Marine miniatures and rules for them, then yeah, that's fine. It doesn't make any difference.
Okay.
Grey Knights don't use Primaris, but yeah, that's that kind of thing. And this is someone who spends a lot of time trying to make sure that everything is actually lore friendly for my videos, or it has some sort of basis. But that's just because I enjoy it. I'd never force anyone else to have to do that themselves. So.
Yeah, okay. Someone said he's gatekeeping lore gatekeeping, which I love. So what do you say to people that are just like, okay, they might not be specifically telling other people how to do it, but they're like, no, I can't change how I paint Ultramarines because I like to paint them like the box art, and the box art is like allegedly the closest to the narrative. You know, that's what they should look like. What do you say? What about that?
Yeah,
is that cringe, or is it just people who get? Are you just saying gatekeepers are cringe?
To be fair, I do find it a little bit cringe because I think Games Workshop have changed the Ultramarine paint scheme like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
The time that they've
sometimes
been around.
Sometimes they've got scratches. Sometimes they're perfectly clean. Sometimes they've got gradients.
Yeah. So, but no, I think it's kind of it's a fairly mild take, I think. But some people really get into the lore stuff, and I get it. It's fun, but there is a certain point where, I mean, it is just. It's not real, guys. Just enjoy it for the.
I think what Pete's trying to say, and maybe I'm putting words in. Maybe if we're changing our profile pictures to Space Marines on Twitter, we're in too deep.
Possibly, especially if it's Black Templars.
Oh God, especially. Okay.
I add a bonus hot take as well, please, before the end of the?
I suppose.
Before I'm done.
Yeah, I suppose. Go on.
My hot take that Stoke-on-Trent is better than the country of Japan.
Now that is a hot take. I've heard they've got really cool recycling centres. That's what I've been told.
They've recently opened a Popeyes Louisiana Chicken, so
holy shit,
going up in the world.
Holy shit, Pete! Thank you so much for your hot takes. I really appreciate it. We're going to be covering both, but thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it, bud.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
No worries, mate. Anytime. Oh, really? Well, there you go. That's the hot take. Everyone who enjoys Warhammer lore is mega cringe. Type 1 in chat if you think it's a hot take. Type 2 if you think it's a cold take. Everyone thinks so. Type 3 if you just kind of agree. Most Space Marine Twitter LARPer never paid a mini, read a black library book, or played tabletop gaming in their life. I saw a tweet the other day. That was like, oh, they were like arguing about Warhammer lore. And I didn't want Pete to come into this. I don't want him to be. I put myself out there to be attacked by the Twitter chuds, not him. This is my opinion. I saw a thing, and it was like someone arguing about the lore on Twitter. They were like, oh, I get most of my lore from AI. They were like, I read all my lore from ChatGPT. And they just don't get it. They just don't get that they're literally a meme. They're literally a meme. They argue about the lore on Twitter and get really invested and say women custodians don't exist, they can't hurt me. And then they say, I get all my lore from ChatGPT. That is cringe. I agree, bro. And then Stoke-on-Trent. This is because I'll tell you, the little story. I was trying to Pete the Wargamer at Salute because me and Pete, we go way back. Okay, and I was chatting to him about the idea of going to Japan, and he was jokingly saying you should go to Stoke-on-Trent because it's really cool. Pete not knowing that I was thinking about booking flights to Japan and already booked flights to Japan and booking a holiday to Japan to get engaged to my beautiful partner. But at the time, he was telling me, instead of going to Japan, that's a stupid idea, I should go to Stoke-on-Trent. So it's quite funny to think that because of Pete the Wargamer, instead of going to halfway across the world to Japan to propose at Mount Fuji, I almost proposed at Stoke-on-Trent Recycling Centre. and maybe outside of Popeye's Chicken in Stoke-on-Trent. It's a way better proposal sign, to be fair. Literally. So he almost convinced me.
Every day I look at our engagement photos and I go, this is dog
I don't know if they can hear you.
I'm like, this is shit. Who wants to get engaged in front of Mount Fuji when I could be at Stoke-on-Trent Recycling Centre?
Exactly, you know what I mean? Every day we stray further from Stoke-on-Trent. So shout out to Pete the Wargamer. Almost influenced my entire life. Georgie says, love you, Pete. All right. We've got another hot take. Welcome to the stage. Welcome to the stage, my friend. Nige, welcome back.
Hello.
How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Just busy basing my night.
Busy basing it. Yeah, the 6-month night. Do you think you're going to finish before the end of the year, or are we going to roll on into 2026 and get your money's worth?
Oh, maybe by the end of the year.
Nice. Okay. Tell me who you are, what army do you play, and your hot take for this evening.
Well, I'm Nige. I play Space Wolves and Chaos Knights. Mm-hmm. My hot take is that, well, it's kind of been stepped on by other points, but the fact that the art of list building is dead because of the internet, and everybody just bands around popular lists and don't critically think about list building themselves.
So because the freedom of information that we have, if you pay BCP a subscription, there's no innovation in list building. It's just take whatever's popular.
Yeah, more or less.
Do you
and
play...
too many people rely on the internet to do their work for them. Like, they'll post lists on Reddit and go like, oh, can you help me tweak my list and stuff like that, and they're not actually thinking about themselves, just relying on others.
Okay. Have you ever thought about the idea of getting ChatGPT to write you a list?
No.
No, I'm joking. Do you play mini events, Nige? You just play like casual games just for like background checks, background references? Because we've had that in the chat.
Yeah, more or less. It's more or less just sort of casual games. I'm trying to get back into things, and I'm thinking of list building myself. And I actually quite like just, theory crafting and stuff like that.
Sure.
But the whole point of some forms of list building should be that you put together a list and you go and give it a shot. You might not go to an event with it, but you'll go to, say, a competitively minded scene and give it a shot and see how it goes. And then you think about how you performed, what did well, what didn't do well, how you can adjust it and tweak it. those sort of things. And nobody seems to do that. They seem to rely on either looking at tournament results or getting the internet to give them advice. It seems to be a bit of a feedback loop involved with list building that just doesn't happen these days.
Do you find it filters quite a lot then in like your casual / competitively minded casual games? Like people are like, oh, I saw this at XYZ. I saw this at this GT. That's why I'm playing it.
Typically, yeah. I mean, some people just throw together lists of stuff they've got and then want to see what they can do with it. But you know, quite a lot of the time it's just people fishing for information from the internet.
Do you think that's quite detrimental then to like the game or people's like player growth? I know some casual people, not you, but just like some people
think
don't
it
like
might have an impact on balance overall, because if you have a certain type of list that's being sort of propagated online and people are taking that to events. I mean, we saw recently with the night lists, it was like, oh, you have to have atroposes and stuff like that. People, you know, the lists became so optimized that you know, when they get taken into account on scoring, etc., they might actually skew balance quite a bit. There might be a lot of underperforming units that just aren't taken, and they just aren't represented.
Sure. So would that not like help with balance though? Because then it'd be like, well, all these units are like clearly quite broken, and all of these people are suddenly taking them, and they're all doing really well, even though normally they average 60 points a game. Now they're all scoring 80. Would that not help with balance? Because it's kind of showing, I suppose, like, to counter my own counterpoint, it wouldn't help in a casual setting because that data goes nowhere. You know, it's just the end of the road. It's just like, okay, I've lost this game. But like when these casual players are kind of taking the best list and going to an event and then doing really well, they're bumping the win rates and getting them higher. So then they're kind of getting dealt with because clearly they shouldn't be doing so well.
I suppose that's a valid point, right?
But then again, like you say, your specific example is like it's like at casual nights at like Thursday club or Friday club, whatever, and people are just like roll stomping with whatever won a tournament or close to what won a tournament 2 weeks ago. And it's like, oh, I've just brought this new list, and it's like blue tap models together. So and
I think a lot of the times there'll be a certain play style that goes with a list, and people might not. It might be the other way. Like it's a really well performing list, and people might perform poorly with it because they're trying to play the list in a style that goes against what the list's designed for, and they don't quite understand how the list works as well.
So it's detrimental to them learning as a player because they're like trying to put the circle in the square
They're
hole.
trying to power game, and they can't quite handle the specifics of the list.
I think it's something. I think it's something I maybe briefly mentioned before in passing on other topics. But yeah, people copy a list is definitely. It's kind of one of those. It's like the nice thing is you can kind of learn. Like we said, we want to learn as players. We want to get better. You can kind of learn like the synergies that you might have missed. But also, yeah, like if you're just kind of just trying to jam it onto a table and just go for it, and you don't really know what you're doing, you can just not progress, blame the list, blame the dice, and then move on to the next competitive list that you don't know how to use.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I think that's a good hot take. I like it. I like it, Nige. But the problem is then, well, how do you counter it? You know, do you like hide lists? You know, ironically, as a bit of an anecdote, I recently went to a Gundam tournament for the card game, and they don't have list submissions. So once you have played you don't see lists beforehand, you don't see deck lists or anything like that. And then I played someone who ended up winning the event, and their deck list was very similar to mine. It had a lot of similar cards. So as soon as I got home, I messaged them and asked them for their deck list. Am I part of the problem? Because that's
put me on the spot there, but yeah, I think it's
okay. I'm giving it you. Let's make it Warhammer related. I went to a tournament, took Space Marines, took Gladius Task Force, and I got beat by someone playing Gladius Task Force but slightly different. And then they won the event, so I went home and copied the list. Am I the problem?
I would say if the list was similar and it's in the spirit of improving your list by making some minor tweaks. I'm talking like minor tweaks. Like if you're trying to redraft the list because it was
let's say it
completely
was like
different, then that might be
40,
different. But if
it wasn't half; it was like 40% of the list was different. Just on that, random percentage.
I wouldn't say so, because this is a sort of feedback you're getting from your game. You played the guy, presumably.
Yeah, I played against you.
Got beaten by them.
Yeah.
Realized that, there's actually a bit better stuff going on here. I mean, you went in with a list that, like, theoretically went with a list of your own creation.
Sure.
Got beaten. Realized that it has some shortcomings and there's stronger combinations. So maybe you should adopt something like that. But it's like I would say that the limit is like wholesale lifting stuff off the internet and then just running.
Like buying a new army, let's say.
Buying a new army because it won, or it's really strong, and you've seen some strong lists. You buy that army, you run that list, and then I don't know, you might lose and go, what the heck happened? This is rubbish.
But then does that not lead to the actually help with the secondary market of Warhammer, because they inevitably sell it and then you can go buy it cheap, who you do play?
Maybe.
I do like your hot take.
I want to see how many cheap atroposes there are online, but a lot of them are probably 3D printed.
That's the problem, right? It's like, I could get it cheaper, but also it's about half of it's probably 3D printed or just like recasts, especially like resin stuff.
Yeah.
So, no, Nigel, I like your hot take. Thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Thank you for letting me play devil's advocate. Appreciate you, man. Catch you later. There you go. There's Nigel's hot take. People buying lists online, mega cringe, not getting better at the game. Is that a hot take? Let me have a look at the chat. Let me quickly catch up. 1 second. It happens not just in Wargame, but it's rampant in card games. What a funny anecdote I had. This hurts, but it's pretty damn accurate, says Lorenzo. Yeah, a lot of people do it, you know. And also, the other side is you can kind of like see what's winning events. Like what I said, is kind of maybe that's okay if you see you're playing X army and then they playing their good army that does really well, and you kind of yoink some stuff from it. But if you're taking list wholesale, you're a bit cringe, you know? In my opinion, the real problem is not people asking for help, but only getting cookie-cutter answers and most optimized lists no matter what you actually want to play. Yeah, because then people are just kind of like feeding into the same point of like, well, you have to play this because it's the best, you know? But then they don't know how to play either. So... that Gundam Park card game is popular in my area. It's fucking popular everywhere, bro. Brother, I'm 41. I could tell the Bay Area has strong Magic the Gathering gaming community. It was possible to play test in groups and circles, which only yielded strong decks. Only difference now that process is now online. Everyone accelerated and everyone can participate. And there's no difference between that and the meta list online. I don't see a problem with its natural progression in play. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, like I'm getting a lot of that with card games. Like I said, with like Gundam, is like I practice at like locals and stuff like that, but then loads of people play online. So like the metas are getting solved extremely fast, and like not just in card games, in Warhammer especially, the meta is getting solved extremely fast. And there's people like doing coaching and stuff like that, you know. There's people chilling and having a good time, and there's like people like playing games online and teaching people how to play. But when you kind of get list help from like coaching and stuff, which I think kind of feeds into the same thing, is like just another symptom of the larger problem, is that like kind of like, oh, I want to get better with Eldar, I really struggle with Imperial Knights. All right, bang 15 Fire Dragons in there, you know what I mean? And it's then everyone's playing 15 Fire Dragons, so it's like, but then yeah, like the fact that people are going ahead and just buying whole armies wholesale that they've never played before, and then they're just doing really shit with it. It's like good on one hand because like it's helping the balance, because it's like skewing it, but then to help the balance, you kind of have to be a guinea pig to die, you know what I mean, to lose the game or whatever. So yeah, so type 1 if you think that was a hot take. I think it was a bit of a hot take, a bit like Pete's, to be fair. 2 if you think it was a cold take, you know, it's kind of obvious. And 3 if you're just not sure. Kind of agree, you know. As an Easter egg enjoyer, it's a bummer that things get solved quickly as it feels bad. I get it totally, and the last thing he describes sounds scummy. Yeah. Having to build and paint slows down people who want to just solve 40k, keeps the game progressing better. The thing is with it is people just kind of fucking paint so fast, you know what I mean? You know, people just paint so fast that it doesn't matter. They paint fast and loose. Like we saw at the LGT with paper bases. You know, it doesn't matter. People can just get the models quick. So... A net list will only result in a player having to pretend to play like the initial creator of the list rather than acquiring the knowledge to build a unique variance. Yeah, that is kind of true, because the thing is with it is like people make choices in list building from experience, or the intention of list building is from experience. You know, it's like, oh, this happened, I needed something to deal with it, and then someone who picks up that army hasn't had that situation, so they don't know why it's there. So maybe they utilize it badly, you know. You see that all the time, you know. When I'm trying other people's lists, that like from tournaments, and I'm trying them out to like learn them myself, you miss things. I'm not saying, whilst I agree with Nige, I'm not saying that I'm not so much part of the problem. But I play a lot of lists, especially at my comp club, that I've never played before, and armies that I don't play very often, to kind of like learn how they tick, you know. And there I'm not trying to like roll stomp someone who doesn't know what this army does or whatever. But what I'm doing is trying to, like I said, like try to learn how the army ticks, so I can then, like, you know, when I'm sat here going, this army's shit, or I don't like this or whatever, at least I've got something behind me to be like, well, I've played this, you know, I've done this. But yeah, like I said, like you can like pick up an army wholesale and not realize how the jigsaw goes together, you know. Again, most people don't have time to develop their own list or practice them. Instead, you can practice approved list. Yeah, that's very true. That's very, very true. I agree. It's kind of like a shortcut, you know, but does that make you a better player if you're just like nicking someone else's list and just beating your mate with it because they don't know how it works? So, yeah, interesting. Anyway, if you've got a hot take, there is still a little bit of time. So if you'd like to put your hand up in the audience in the Discord, ! Discord if you haven't joined already. There is a stage area called Your Worst Warhammer Hot Takes. And we should have come up with a better scoring system. We should have done a hot or not, really. Or scran or ban. You know? That's what we should have done. Because I feel like it's a hot take, but then people are kind of agreeing with it. So we need to be like 1 if you think it's hot, 2 if you think it's not. So if you again, if you're in the audience, make sure you wave your hand if you'd like to be brought on. I'm just gonna start dragging random people on because you just sat there. If you haven't got your hand up, I'm just gonna drag you on anyway. But yeah, if you're in the Discord, make sure you join the stage, and then you can put your hand up and ask. So we have one person who's put their hand up, so let's bring them in. And I'd love to hear your hot take. Hello there.
Hi. I am that Lorenzo that you saw in chat.
Hey, how you doing?
Seconds ago. It's all right.
Good.
Coming from what the latest hot take, which is like, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, tell me what your name, username, what army you play, and what's your hot take?
Well, the username is in chat Lorenzo here in Discord Custodian, and I play Custodes mainly, but I started playing with Grey Knights, which I still have, even though they're taking a bit of dust, and Dark Angels, because Terminators are my jam.
I like it. Okay, my friend, what's your hot take today?
The hot takes at the minute, I have 2, and I'll let you pick. One is Initiative needs to come back. The other one is the current iteration of codexes either changes drastically or dies.
They're 2 very good hot takes. I'm very interested to explore. You choose. Which one do you think you're more passionate about? Which one do you think you are more angry or would more love to see more?
Well, Initiative honestly is something that I explored a lot more. So we can go with that one.
Okay. So tell me, why do you think Initiative should come back?
Well, having played mainly elite armies and seeing other elite armies with melee units in particular, but also units that are supposed to be decent at the very least in melee, seeing them getting trans randomly because, I don't know, that random intercessor squad charged them and they are glass cannons, so they died a horrible death for no apparent reason. Feels bad.
They got punched by some very armored fists, but yeah, I get you.
Yeah, exactly. But, like, that's one of them. The other one is I see elite armies, even elders, like bunches and striking scorpion stuff. Like, those units, they have meaning in and of themselves. But with initiative back, they would be able to actually function more into that elite section of them and actually have that elite feeling, because at that point, yes, we're really why? We're faster than pretty much everybody else around us, so we're always going to strike before you because we're just better than you. It's another lever that kind of helps with combat, because this all or nothing system at the minute sits in a very precarious situations where random units might kill hypothetically, far more stuff that they're not supposed to have any business dealing with, but they do anyway because they hit them first, and then the punchback doesn't come.
I get you. Yeah. So, do you not think that the lack of initiative value, while on paper seems disappointing, do you not think it rewards players who can like outmaneuver and outtime and play their hand compared to their opponent? Like you say, like intercessors randomly killing things. Do you not think that's rewarding the player that managed to get intercessors to go in and randomly kill something like a Howling Banshee, rather than kind of, oh, well, I've charged, but because I'm just better in combat than you, then I get to hit you first with all my power swords compared to your fists or whatever?
Well, that is true in a sense that I agree that a reward system for movement should come in. But at the same time, in the spirit of, we're also playing technically, very technically, because it's Warhammer, a war game, it would make sense for the unit that you're looking at. Sometimes you're not supposed to charge that unit. You're supposed to see it and blast it into oblivion, because if it touches you, you explode.
Yeah, I get you.
That, and also, as I saw some people say, it also helps because even though they don't want to bring point backs for equipment, it would help massively with all the equipment. Because we're not talking about initiative for the model, we're talking about adding initiative at the beginning of the in the equipment stat line. So when you have hit, strength, and whatever, you add initiative, and it's a value, which means you strike at the same time, you strike lower, you strike higher.
So
it
like
helps
heavier
also balancing
weapons
that
like
off.
power fists and thunder hammers would be swinging quite slow because they're quite heavy, and something that's quite nimble like daggers and swords and stuff would be a lot higher.
It would give more reason, essentially, to actually have different weapons other than this just wounds better. And you're like, I mean, sure, but like...
yeah, I get you. Now, here's another curveball for you. Do you not think a lot of the issue comes down to the lack of weapon skill rather than initiative? Because, like, in this game, now, we have, like, guardsmen that can just go into combat and they can fight an immovable object, like a drop pod, on a 4. And then they can go and fight the greatest swordsman to ever live, Lucius the Eternal, on a 4.
On a 4.
Whereas if they had a weapon skill and we went back to like the old comparison chart, they'd be hitting a drop pod automatically and then hitting Lucius on like a 6 because he's so good. He's so cool and epic. Do you think that's a bigger problem, or do you think it's initiative that's the issue?
Well, it's not about what I think. I think that initiative is more of an issue. Like, to be completely honest, I would think that weapon skill would also mostly help that. But we've seen GW moving away from tables.
Yeah,
especially in the 40k.
Games,
like they came back Heresy and like Old World and what have you. But Sigmar and 40k, they are clearly moving away. So this is just a value that you can check. If it's the same, you fight the same. And you don't have to really think about it. Because people can count. Last I checked, at the very least. Not every.
You'd hope so. They can count when they copy the list offline, we've been told. Yeah,
So, like,
yeah, I think... Go
it's
on.
the most reasonable, quote unquote, request I can think of from that. Like, I could see it happen, and it would help a lot of these elite units feel the way they are probably supposed to be.
Sure. Do you think we'd have to, like, nerf some of the combat potential of these units? Because, like, if you think back to, like, a year ago when Custodies were, like, on their highs, because they're quite good in combat because they're Custodies.
That's for sure.
But then
Like,
you can, like, trigger fight first. That's almost like having better initiative, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the thing about fight first, like, even then, Custodies, when they had 2 fight first and the other fight first was still... It was finicky, the stratagem, but it was still too much. Because we could round people in blows and they were like, oh, well, I guess I don't fight you ever. And it's still a 2-up, 4-up. So good luck with that one. And I don't think that's one of the reasons why I think maybe initiative is coming back, is because at that point you have stuff like Lucius and the Flawless Blades, for example, unit that needs all the help it can get, especially the Flawless. Or Fulgrim, other example. Though that's another type of help. But, like, those units actually are like, okay, I have my own elite unit, and it will be able to fight you, and I actually have a reason to come over with an elite unit to fight you. So, like, but these elite units suddenly get a new lease on life type of deal.
Yeah, because they can be a little bit worse, but they're saying that they are, but you don't take them. But as long as they have pseudo fight first against things they probably should do, they'd actually perform far better, because they don't, like you say, just get randomly struck because I charged with 7 units and I didn't have 2 command points to interrupt, so I just get 7 units attacking.
This would literally, you would remove the interrupt. You could keep stuff like Fight on Death. It still doesn't kill that playstyle. Or you could skip stuff, the quote-unquote initiative buffs. You can technically keep them, but you can just make it modifiers like everything else, since W is doing modifiers everywhere.
Sure.
At that point. And, like, the other thing is, yes, you need to rebalance everything that's essentially melee. Because obviously, yes, my Custodes is 60-odd points a model. So one would think it would require a number of attack, but at the same time, if I get a really high initiative, I can just not be chargeable by anybody, because that's not a game. That's bullying people.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think if in your ideal world where initiative comes back, would you have like a charge bonus? So like if you charge, you get like +1 or +2 initiative. So that
you
might
could do that, and I think it would help like units that are quote unquote less elite against more elite units, which I think should be something to consider. But at the same time, doing that also means that more elite units, when they come in and charge you, you just don't stand a chance ever.
Yeah.
So it's more, I would think it's more of something that you might want to have, for example, instead of another stratagem that we could have, like the interrupt.
Yeah.
Instead of interrupt, you give the unit +1 initiative.
Yeah. Okay.
That way you can it's something to even the odds rather than something to give more boost to whoever has the initiative in the game.
Yeah.
Yes, it would reward play, but we need to it needs to be thought out in a way that it's kind of fair, and we don't have situations where you can never, like, there's no unit that can charge the Howling Bunches in the corner because they're gonna shred anything they go near, like it used to be back in the day.
Yeah. But if they get shot, they die. But they should shred
exactly. Like you can just
thing.
put out intercessors, they explode into smithereens because they're elder. It happens. Or the Custodes, yes, you're gonna walk out. Okay, they're still only armed with bolters, and yes, they're thick, but they're priced for that, hypothetically. again, everything needs to be tweaked afterward, because then you need to test it, and then you need to see exactly how much or how little something needs to change because of that.
Yeah.
But I've seen it especially, again, for very elite armies or very elite units, because like other examples could be Chosen. It could be just simply Death Guard as a whole, that at the minute they can virtually charge everybody, or cannot be charged, for example, when it comes to Plague Marines, because they have two characters and you can't go near them, otherwise they're gonna make you go bye-bye.
Sure. Okay. That's a hot take. Bring back initiative. Even though Games Workshop are trying to remove random like extra stats, we should bring just the one back to bring back good combat units. I like it. Lorenzo, thanks so much for the hot take. I really appreciate it.
By all means, thank you for the opportunity.
A pleasure, man. Anytime. Catch you later, yeah?
Yeah.
Cheers,
Sure.
bud.
Bye.
So there you go. That was Lorenzo's hot take. Is it hot? Type 1. Or is it not? Type 2. Do we agree? Do we think that's a good hot take? Do we think we should bring back initiative? Like I said, the thing is with it is we have the idea of fight first and fight last, which is essentially our initiative. We have initiative 0, 1, and 2. 1 being the standard, you know. It's like definitely an interesting one. I think, like I said, like it kind of fight first on the charge essentially rewards the player, you know. But like you say, it's like if you've got a really heavy combat army, maybe that combat army should be able to fight first, because like we say, Lucius, the greatest swordsman in the world, can get charged by, I don't know, an old man in a chair and go second because he got charged, you know. I already hate dealing with combat. Please, no. Lorenzo kind of base. Yeah, I think it was a good take. Yeah. So 1 if you agree, 2 if you don't agree, 1 if it's hot, 2 if it's not. We've finalized the scoring system. We do have one more guest in the audience, so if you're waiting, I'll just be a second. I haven't seen a foul blight spawn in wild. Lethal sustained play marines are a hell of a drug. Yeah, for sure. But they're also a bit nasty, you know what I mean? Being able to give out fight last. Being able to just obliterate it. But yeah, I think initiative value is a good idea. I don't think it's an awful idea. We don't want to go back to 7th edition and just have all the stats as we used to. Like I was mentioning, like being able to... It's kind of like Age of Sigmar, you know what I mean? We kind of hit on it. We still have a strength and toughness value, but like we kind of just hit on what we hit on, you know? There's stealth, and there's like -1 to wit, and there's all this. But we just hit on 3s. We just hit on 4s, even though we're fighting the greatest swordsman in the world, you know, in the universe or whatever. Remember the positive and negative view about Luke's initiative system cuts through that. Yeah, it's true. It's explicit in the law that Lucy's not even the top 100. He just has the bravado Slanesh likes. Well, you get what I mean. Who's the greatest swordsman in Warhammer right now? I don't know. I said Lucy because it's the easiest one to remember. First one that came top of my head. I've been watching Emperor's Children all day. Which number is agree? It's 1. Just 1 if you agree, 2 if you don't. Even initiative 1 to 3 on weapons, 3 being fast, 2 mid, 3 slow, with fight first bind to each in the initiative bracket. Yeah. Farsight, yeah. The lion is the best swordsman. Yeah, so if you're like a guardsman, you hit an immovable drop pod on a 4, you hit the lion on a 4, you know. The greatest swordsmen are the people who subscribe and donate to this channel. Isn't that right, Mikey? That's so true, Big Mac and Fries. Appreciate it. That's so true. Yeah, the greatest swordsmen are the people who subscribe and like the stream. Anyway, we got one more. Someone's been coming in, waiting patiently. We've got one more hot take. Okay. Hello there. Hello. How you doing?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for coming by. Appreciate you. Let me know your name, username, your tag. What army you playing? What's your hot take this evening? It's going to be good because you're the final
Harry.
one.
I play... That's all right. My name's Harry. I'd be surprised if this one wasn't spicy, to be fair. I mean Deathwatch. And my take is that gotchas, to a certain extent, are fine. I think that the Warhammer competitive community is allergic to them because the Warhammer competitive community ultimately doesn't accept variance. They don't have the skill that TCG players have, which is you need to be able to deal with the unknown and adjust on the fly. And talking of TCGs, I would compare it to basically everyone at a table seeing each other's hands all time when playing the game.
Wow, that is a hot take. That is very much a hot take. Why do you think that is like should change? Like, why do you think like gotchas should be a thing? Just because it shows skill?
Well,
because it's the point of the army,
because it's a type of skill that they've basically managed to community outrage their way out of the game. The idea of at the start of the game, I need to know exactly what you're going to do. I need to know exactly how much you can do it, and I need to know exactly when it can happen. It's crazy. Like I really enjoy playing Warhammer. I really get a lot of fun out of it.
Sure.
But there is I end up enjoying TCG more because you can pull out tricks. You can poker face your way through things.
Yeah.
But if in Warhammer, if someone says, hey, what have you got in reserve and where can it come in? You basically have to give them all of the options of where that unit's going to come in. You can't hold anything. You can't hold any cards close to your chest. You just got to sit there and be like, yeah, I was thinking of going for your home actually, but now you can just go screen, I guess. Yeah. You can't punish people for mistakes, and I get to a certain extent it's because bad faith people will take it too far.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a middle ground that we've let slip completely by just being like, well, it's an open book theory now. Everyone knows everything. You just got to have to somehow, like I was watching LGT streams all over the weekend.
Sure.
The only unknown moments that ever happened was someone spiked some saves. That was it. Otherwise, the top players were literally like, I'm going to go here, this is what I'm going to do. And the other person will be like, yep, I know that's exactly what you can do. They've agreed upon it. And otherwise, the turns were really televised. Everyone knew what was going to happen.
Sure.
And it got real stale. Like, I was listening to the commentary and people were like, oh, this is exciting. And I'm like, is it? They've kind of just been doing the same thing they were doing every single game.
Yeah, because they've just been telling each other what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Or what they're wanting to happen. Yeah.
And so I think to a certain extent, we need... at the very least, then there needs to be like, I don't know, a secret strat. There are 3 potential strats you can take into a game, and 1 that you get to keep secret. The others are all public, but you get to hold 1 strat that's like, I don't actually have to tell you this one. So there's there's some potential counterplay, because it is just, woo, it's the same every time. It's just like, this is how far I could potentially advance. Cool, you've measured exactly the angle you need to never get hit by my thing. There's no punishment for mistakes, because the mistake in Warhammer is simply not asking the question. It's not a misplay, it's you didn't ask.
So what do you think about the rebuttal of like, Warhammer is far too big of a game, there's too much going on. It takes too long to play, so the reason that we have intent and having an open book policy is because it's unfair to expect people to play like LGT. We've just seen people play like 10 games again, and don't forget I'm playing devil's advocate, so don't take it too personally, but we're playing like 10 games, we're like 30 hours into Warhammer, are we still expected to remember every single stratagem from every single army in every game and every unit data sheet and every ability?
I would say it's the same as like my comparison would go to TCG again, where it's like you can ask to see someone's deck list, you can't see their hand. Like I shouldn't have to spell out for you what my potential actions are going to be in their entirety. There should be some mystery and counterplay. Instead, with Warhammer, it's very much I can pretty much work out if I ask enough questions exactly how the next turn is going to go.
Yeah, okay. I can definitely agree on some parts. Again, not to bring it up again, as I said, I've just been getting into competitive TCG for the first time in like 15 years, and like we're playing tournaments that are like there's a £700 card to win, you know what I mean? So it's like not small stakes, and there's no deck lists, and there's no like, not even like what type of color you're playing. Nothing is revealed at the table. I only know what my opponent's playing is when they start putting cards down. You know, like for like a color, for example.
I think that's the other end of the pendulum. Like that's just all mystery, no knowledge, which is fine. And that's kind of deal. I would just like the pendulum to swing just a notch or two the other way for Warhammer. Just one or two things I don't necessarily have to inform my opponent, like, well, yeah, I was thinking about sneaking this unit into your backlines. Actually, no, go ahead and move everything around to prevent me doing that.
Yeah, because like, and again, just to the counterpart with the card game, see with the card game is like, if you don't know what the opponent has in their hand, but as soon as it's on the board, you can kind of, like, depending what type of card, obviously if it's like, depending what TCG we're playing or whatever, but if you got like something on the board that has like an ability, we can just read it there and then and remind ourselves and then make a conscious decision of what that card can do or what the cards on the table can do in my own turn or my own cards in my hand to counter it. So it's kind of like with certain types of like games and certain instances of those cards, that is kind of like open book because they're a bit more one-dimensional. You know, let's say it's like an attacker with so much health or so much attack. You know that you have to manage that because they got the cards in your hand, and then you've got you can read what it can do if it's got an ability or whatever. But on the other side, I do totally agree because we have inherently a gotcha stratagem in the core rules. It's called Overwatch. You know, that is inherently a gotcha. Because it's supposed to, it's supposed to be after you start or end a move, I'm going to shoot you, and I'm sure you and I've had it plenty of games where it's like, oh, I'm going to move, and it's like, okay, well my unit with like 17 flamers is going to Overwatch, and they go, oh, what's the range? I'm just going to stay out of that.
Pretty much. I mean, I actually think Overwatch. The example I like to give is the Feel No Pain with Custodian Wardens. I wish we had things that were more restrictive like that, because then there is mystery and counterplay. You can bait out a warden to pop their Feel No Pain. There is actual mind games involved in that. It can be like you stage a couple units that can see 2 units of custodies. You aim the first one, you say, I'm about to shoot, and then you say, you have to decide whether you want to pop your Feel No Pain. They say yes, and you go, cool, I'm going to shoot the other unit. That's actually interesting.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like, there's so little of that in the game. Like, there's so little of forcing choices. It's for the most part, it is a worked out thing of I'm going to efficiently trade units by working out exactly how far you can put your units until one of us manages to get more lucky with the cards and score more points.
Sure.
Like, that's really how it feels once you get into the nitty gritty of the top tables.
Yeah, because it's kind of like like you say, because of the bad actors, I think people have kind of been forced to be like very open and very like play by intent is what is Warhammer 101, right? It's you play by intent, and so you will say what you're doing when you're doing it, and you say I am XYZ away, so now you can't do XYZ or vice versa. But yeah, it's kind of, on the one hand, I think Warhammer is too big and too long to be able to focus that long on, you know, remembering rules, remembering threat ranges from information that I just have rather than asking at the time. Because like we say, like TCGs are like 30 minutes, and it's like it's one and done. There's usually a long break in between, where Warhammer's 3 hours, you scrad some lunch, and then you start another game, you know, usually. Or sometimes at like the top tables at these sorts of big events, it's like 5 minutes between games and you start another one. So it's kind of like similar but different, if that makes sense. But yeah,
that's why I use the example of seeing each other's hands in card games,
for sure.
Just because it is a different environment. But like I said, I don't want it to be we go full pendulum the other way and everyone's tricking each other all the time. I would just like a bit more. Just like I said, maybe one mystery strat out of a potential 3. If an opponent's good, he can probably work out which one of those 3 you picked based on his army. So it's not that much mystery, but just something.
Yeah, how would you just add this idea? How would you manage it? Like give me like a world example of like you've got 3 and you keep 1 hidden, just so I understand what you're trying to, the point you're getting.
Let's say with GSC where you have the blips. Sure. Let's say you have 3 stratagems, and the stratagems are basically you can make that blip 1 unit. This is completely off the top of my head. It's completely random, but you could make that blip the unit that would be best for you in that given game, and in the next game it might be completely different. Now a good opponent's going to know that chances are if they've got a lot of vehicles, you'll pick the anti-vehicle unit. So maybe it's just a token thing once you get to a certain point. But I think for a lot of games it would add that little bit of mystery and spice that could really change games up. And I feel there's so little of that going on in Warhammer. It's why I don't get the argument where people say the rules constantly change, it's hard to keep up. Because I think if the rules didn't constantly change, Warhammer would get stale really fast. Because once everyone knows, like, it's crazy how much everyone has to know everything at the start of any given game. And so, yeah, I don't know. I'd want something, not everything, just one thing that I could be like, I outplayed them, not because I had to trick them because they knew everything, but because I had one ploy I could do, and it doesn't even have to be that game changing.
What do you think about the idea then? Let's say tomorrow, new mission pack, cards was secret, the secondary missions were secret. Would that be like a step in the right direction? Would that make it a little bit more interesting? So like if I bring it down, you don't know that the guy in the middle is on 2 wounds. You don't know that I'm trying to kill him this turn. And then I kill him and I go, bam, here's 4 points. Would that be interesting? Would that be like a step in the right direction rather than like, I know obviously we've talked about like army rules and deep strike.
It would work with the current secondary packs, because the current secondary packs, it'd be like
with actions and stuff. Yeah, it'd be weird, right?
Yeah, I'd watch you walk into the middle and be like, well, you're area denying then. Like, there's not many things that could happen. You know what I mean? Like, there's a process of elimination with the current secondary cards that don't really. I
think there's less than you think though, because like, except for like sabotage, which is obviously it completes at the end of next turn, like cleanse, you could just walk onto an objective and then score it. You don't know if you wouldn't know if you need to overwatch. You wouldn't know if you need to reactive move or whatever. You could be like, oh, he's walked onto an objective. I go and try and take it, and then he goes, oh, actually, I've got kill a unit on an objective.
That's true, because you could have a bit of counterplay there where they could assume you're doing an action, force a reactive out of you, assume they've stripped some points off of you, but actually you were scoring with something else somewhere else.
Yeah, because then it's kind of playing without revealing our hand, quite literally.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I would just like something like that. Just something a bit more like the game isn't completely transparent, because I understand why the transparency has become so invasive in the entire Warhammer community, because there was a seed of bad actors that were using it as a way to win games, basically just being like, haha, you didn't know I can bring my entire unit back, you've exposed your entire army, I'm now going to shoot you off the table. I'm not talking about that, but I think there is a level of gotchas that is healthy for games to have, and I think the competitive community has stamped any potential of them being there.
Okay, final question before I let you go. Would you prefer to see people not talk about the rules at the start of the game and just being like, I am playing this army, this is my detachment? Or would you prefer to be like, okay, well, we could talk about the beginning, kind of like sharing deck lists, etc., asking about certain whatever, and then in the game, we kind of, not like a completely closed, but we're not arseholes, but like, I'm not going to be like, I've got Deep Strike 6, and it's a strat. We talked about it at the start of the game. I don't need to remind you because I've talked to you about it. Which is the like world that you think would be better?
I think it would be more if you had like if that was built into the time you had for the game.
Yeah.
Like, let's say if the TOs always had the table set up, you never had to measure the table set up, and instead that 15 minutes was you're going to exchange with your opponent what potentially you could do in the game. Then I think something like that would be fine. But as things are, there isn't the time for that, so that's why people kind of do it as they go.
Yeah,
because like at least to a lot of events I've been to, the first thing you do is check the terrain because it's been knocked around a bunch by the last person.
Yeah.
So you need to make
the
sure
army trade goes straight onto the table, as always.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. That was a good hot take. I really appreciate it, Harry. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, no worries.
Nice one, mate. I think it's going to be interesting. I'm going to catch up with her now. So best of luck out there, soldier. Trying to get shot in the back.
Off spicier than I meant. I walked it back like Pete did, but you've got to bait them in a little bit.
Of course, I like it. You should be a YouTuber. It's good. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for your time. Have a nice evening. Okay, there you go. There's your final hot take for this evening. That Warhammer's too much of an open book, bro. It's too much. What do you think, chat? Let's have a look. I've got to scroll back because there's quite a lot of chat. You know, like I said to Harry, there are some like inherently gotcha strats. Like Overwatch is only a little one, but it is inherently gotcha. You know, it's very much like you move, I shoot. You don't. Once you've chosen to move, you shouldn't really get a choice to move away or choose differently. You've moved, and I'm gonna do it. So, do you agree? Is it hot? Type 1. Do you disagree we should continue with the status quo that we have right now? Type 2. If you think the game is people are being too open, type 1. No. If you think the game is too open, yeah, type 1. If you think, no, I like how it is now, type 2. So, let me quickly catch up. Let me know your thoughts now. Obviously, I was having a chat, so if you want to repeat it, that's fine. I agree with it to a degree, but there's certain parts that don't work. Let me know what you think, Dave. What parts don't work? I think 10th edition is a response to the fact that there used to be more gotchas and people didn't like them. People playing 40k want to know everything about their opponent, hence 10th detachments. Yeah, I think like there's like the limitation of the amount of stratagems is to allegedly make it easier to understand and easier to digest as an opponent or as a player. When secret missions is, people usually figured out what it was. Yeah, secret missions were to an extent. Yeah, but they were like late in the game and you don't have much left, so it's kind of became obvious. There's definitely a lot of ones. There's a lot more ones than I was expecting, I would say. I would say I was surprised to see that many ones. So none of you fuckers want to play by intent. That's what we're saying. Just play Eldar. No one keep track of all the tricks anyway. Spicy / hot take, but disagree on the fundamental levels simply because rules are open, have been since 40k formed out of Road Trader. If 40k had a DM / judge back with third faction to interrupt like Road Trader, it might work. I think the thing is with it though is like, I think it'd work better, this concept of like less intent, especially for like unit abilities and stuff, would work better if the rules were free, you know? Again, using the TCG analogy, I know I keep going back to it, but like cards are available online to look at, you know? If I want to know what a card does, I can find it. And in Warhammer, that's the same, but it's more unofficial channels rather than official channels. If there was an official way to just look at any unit, I think it'd be much easier because then while your opponent's playing, you could be like, what the fuck does this shit do, you know? And you can do that now, but you can't do it officially unless you buy every single codex, you know? But you can be like, what the fuck is this, you know? And then like adapt on the fly. But with the current way to faction rules, it doesn't work yet. No, I agree. With current faction rules, it doesn't quite work. I think an element has been lost. I will agree with Harry on that one. I'll give it that way. It's like the current system of the game doesn't allow for it because it feels like it's a retaliation to what we had in the past where people didn't like it. But yeah, it's with intent. You kind of say what's going to happen in a turn because most people, like competitive players, kind of know what's going to happen because they understand the averages a lot more than most people, where it's like this turn I'm going to try and kill this and then I'm going to charge here. That will happen because they just kind of roughly know what's going to happen because they've seen it so many times. Whereas like the idea of it, so then the turn that they play out, it just repeats itself because you already know what's going to happen because they've said it. But yeah, like the lack of gotcha, the lack of tricks being in the pocket are definitely lacking. Definitely an interesting take for sure. I think you put it ask what that can can deep strike 6, then you should answer. I also think don't think you should be constantly telling them they should put effort in. Yeah, I think the thing is with it is I think the point is we shouldn't be able to ask so many questions just because it kind of takes away the skill of like being able to counterplay. Because if every time your opponent asks, do you have a counterplay for XYZ, and you go, yes, YZ, they just stop you doing YZ, you know? Now in the current game state, now obviously the reason it's a hot take is because it might be controversial. In the current state, then you would be an asshole, you know, if you didn't tell them. So do you have Deep Strike 6? You just went, who, me? Sorry, I can't tell you. You know, you look like an arsehole. But that's the point. Maybe the ideology, the mindset of it has gone one step too far where we just don't have anything, you know? Which is why I kind of, like some people mentioned in chat, the idea of hidden secondaries. I draw 2 cards and I've got them and I don't show you until I score them. there's actually only a small handful out of the 19 cards that wouldn't work. Attempting target wouldn't work, you know, that would have to be different. The sabotage wouldn't work because that takes too long. What else wouldn't work? I'm just trying to think of the secondaries now. What's the website? 1 second, chat, let me find it. Where's it gone? I have a bookmark on my phone because I'm a boomer. I'm a boomer. GDMCA. Game-data.mission.com. So attempting target, because when you choose it, your opponent has to choose something. This wouldn't work as it is. Recover assets. You could do that secretly. As long as you go, these two units aren't shooting this turn, you're kind of not really telling your opponent what you're doing. But as long as they didn't shoot, assassinate would perfectly fine, would work perfectly fine as a secret objective. Call the Horde would work perfectly fine, because you could just be like, I've drawn Call the Horde, I can't score this. You know, but it'd be on you as the player to know whether you can actually score it or not. So maybe you have it at the top of the list, at the army list, you know. Behind me lines, again, works perfectly as a secret card. The redrawing doesn't work, but like the card itself does. Air Denial does, Bring It Down does, Cleanse does, Display of Might does, Defend Stronghold does, Engage on all fronts. Defend Stronghold's a really just a gimme card, but it does work. Engage on all fronts works, Establish Locus works, Extend Battle Lines works, Mark for Death doesn't, but you could be like the most expensive unit on the board, just slightly change that one up. The idea of it still works. You kill the most expensive unit to remain on the board, or the most expensive unit in the army list or whatever, get 3 points. That does work because you can just check their army list. No Prisoners works, Overwhelming Force works, Sabotage, again, that doesn't work because it takes too long. Secure No Man's Land works perfectly fine. Storm Hostile works, and then yeah, so there's only like what, 3? Attempting Target, Mark for Death, and Sabotage. There are 3 objectives out of the 16 or 19 or whatever that don't work as an idea of secret. The only thing that really doesn't work is redrawing. So you just have to hope you don't redraw. Can I see your amulets real quick? Well, maybe you have that information of your opponent, you know, so you know what the deck, everyone's got the same deck, and then when you play your opponent, you give them a little card that says, like, my most expensive unit is this, Call the Horde is this, etc. So then you know you've scored it, you know, because you'll have that information, because you know, you would just know. Obviously, if you then have to check mid-game, then maybe you don't. But like a little slip, you know, or something, or just change how the secondaries work, got a different deck, so you don't need that. But like I would just say, if you wanted to quickly adapt this deck, it would mostly work, you know. So Attempting Target, Mark for Death, and Sabotage are like the 3 that wouldn't really work. So I like this. Draw 2, reveal end of opponent's turn if what you scored didn't. Yeah, and you could also have like no redraw mechanic, but then you discard and get a CP still. All that still, most of it still works. Could you do fixing that way? No, fixed wouldn't work. Yeah, because obviously you'd only be able to be fixed until you score the first one, and then they kind of know. It's like, oh, you got assassinate, cool. Looking to get weird with rules at my next tournament. Might do one game as secret secondaries. Yeah, do it by all means. So let me know how it goes. Sounds like an idea they'd roll out for a season and sack off 3 months later once people get mad at going second win rate. Yeah, literally. Spearhead works like this. It's pretty ballsy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Spearhead exactly like this, because your secondaries are also commands, like stratagems. So, and they kept secret. They scored at the end. So it's obviously still doable. But like I said, the whole gotcha then is when they're playing their turn, you don't know what they're trying to achieve. At the minute, you do. They've got 2 cards and you tell them what they are. You don't know what they're trying to achieve, so you can't. They shouldn't be an open book. Like you say, if they're trying to advance onto an objective, have they got Storm Hostile? Have they got Cleanse, you know, or whatever? Are they just trying to bait something like an Overwatch out of me so then they can move to the middle and get Area Denial? I don't know. So maybe secret objectives is like actually the fucking most goated idea that's ever been thought of on this channel. Chat, do we do it? It's a Christmas themed event. Secret Santaries. Chat, is this the most genius idea we've ever had? Secret secondaries? All-star secrets, yeah. Maybe we try it on stream. Maybe try it on stream. If we can't score it, because it doesn't work, we just redraw. You know, we'll just take them out of the deck. I think it was a twist in all Maelstrom decks. Yeah, maybe. In my opinion, the game is fundamentally bad. After playing alternating activations, 40k design has been exposed. It's simple again, it's overcomplicated. I don't think 40k would work as alternating activations unless an alternate activation had like a power level. Because it's like, I activate a unit of scouts, you activate an Imperial Knight. Doesn't work. Would it not show more skill to beat someone who already knew what you were going to do, yet you prevent them from stopping you? That shows one type of skill, yeah, but like the point of the matter is like, do you think it's kind of the game is already decided? Well, the turn's already decided at the start a lot of the time, and then like Harry said, like the only discrepancy of like what the turn will play out like is weird dice, and obviously that is this whole chance. You need to get catching aids so you can merchandise it. Yeah, I think like, yeah, like that. I think, like, do we agree? Do we think the game has got too overzealous in playing by intent? Or two, do we think the game's perfectly fine and we should be more open books? Because I'm leaning on maybe. I think the game fundamentally needs to change for it to work, but I think the game is very, very open. When I play, I'm extremely open. I'm like, yo, bro, I know it's been 3 turns, but don't forget, I've still got 3 deep strike in my pocket ready to go. You know? You know, it's kind of like, it's like one of those. It's, I'm super duper open, but should we be super duper open? Should we be more reserved and more hidden, but not like hidden to being a dick? But the thing is with it, I keep saying it. See, we're hidden to be a dickhead, but in this instance, we wouldn't be the dickhead; it'd be the norm. Two, I think 40k is collaborative. It's miserable when you play against people trying to win at all costs. No, of course, but I'm saying that this would be not people trying to win at all costs. This would be a cultural change, you know? It would become more normal. There'd be a lot of things that have to change around it, but it wouldn't be like someone's trying to win at all costs. It'd just be how the game is, you know? Because like we said, if we take it back to card game, because I guess it's the easiest example, is like, yeah, it's like, well, in my deck I have the X, Y, Z, and they can all do this, and in my hand I have this, so I'm gonna be able to do this turn. You know. So yeah, it wouldn't be like oh, everyone's trying to gotcha now. Everyone's like a massive knobhead. But as the idea of sportsmanship and intent gone way too far, we need to rein it back in a little bit. Which is on some degree I can kind of agree. Like I do not do this, okay? I do not do this, and I'm very open with my opponent, and I'm very happy, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine, because I would like you to do the same to me. But in the current climate, you know, if I move with a guy to try and score a denial and he's got 1 wound left, and someone's like, oh, did you forget I've got 19 flamers on this unit? I'm like, I'm just going to walk him back just out of range, you know? I'm just going to walk him back slightly out of range. You know, that's what I would do. And if my opponent did it, and I'd be like, I'm going to Overwatch now, and they go, wait, well, actually, when I say I'm going to Overwatch, are you sure you want to move there? You know? That's what I'm like, but is that too far? Should we be like, no, you fucked it, bro? We should be punished. Should we be moving towards the game if we're playing the exact same army list, you know, same everything? how do we decide who's the better player? You know, we have to punish mistakes. Now, it could be tactical mistakes, but it could also just be easy mistakes of forgetting something, you know? Like, again, it's just like card games is a great example because I've been playing loads of it, you know what I mean? So maybe it's gone one step slightly too far and we need to rein some of it back in. How that's done, I don't know. I'm also not here to do it. It's just an interesting take, and I think Harry had some points. I think he had some good ideas. I think he had some good takes. He had a good take, a good hot take. We don't want to be in a position where everyone's a knobhead. That was the whole point. It was like, I think because of that, we've gone too far the other way. We're in a nanny state. That's what we're trying to say. A small 10-deck / library of stratagems you make during army list creation would work. You keep them secret, but your opponent can see all the possible cards you may have taken. Isn't that just more of what we're doing now, though? You know? That's like kind of having the 40k app open at all times. I don't know. I think maybe he's on something. I think it works if it's something that mechanically adds surprise, but if it's just a culture change to not tell your opponent, hey, just so you know, I can do X, Y, Z. Yeah. Because like I say, I always play collaborative hammer. I call it collab hammer. Whenever I'm playing my turn, I'm like, if you got anything reactive, let me know, you know, so I can play around it and I'll remind you, you know. I'm always like, oh, don't forget this, you know. I've had an opponent tell me to shut up in their turn once because I was reminding them about my army rules too much, and it said they got decision paralysis. I was like, don't forget I got reactive move. I'm just saying in the fairies, like, don't forget I got reactive move, and don't forget I can overwatch, and don't forget I can do this, and also I got 3-inch deep strike, and also I got rapid ingress because they're really good. They can shoot quite a lot, and they can go 3 inches and probably take your home objective if you don't protect it. And he just went, Mikey, shut up. I was like, what? And he was like, you're just telling me too much. I don't know what to do with my turn. You're giving me too much information. And I was like, fair, okay. I'll shut up. Delicious compliance. I'm literally like the Elmo meme, you know what I mean? Elmo. Yep. What is the video? Elmo angry meme. And like this, this is literally me sometimes when I'm playing games. That's literally me, bro. I'm the yellow guy. I can't remember his name. Why is Pinterest such a shit player? Why are we watching videos on fucking Pinterest? Let's watch them on TikTok instead. Oh my god, just let me watch the video. Play the sound. Play the sound. That's my opponent telling me to shut the fuck up. You know? That's sometimes you chat when I'm talking on stream about something you don't care about. So I don't know. I think it's an interesting take. I think, yeah, maybe we got one step too far. Maybe we need to rein it in a little bit. But secret objectives might be the greatest idea we've ever had. I think ultimately the thing is, if you encourage a culture shift, you just end up with a 2018 LVO incident. So the thing is with it, Kyrie, is I think the situation that we have now is directly because of that, you know, like literally like that instance of someone being a bad actor, you know, trying to help their opponent deep strike and then go, oh, actually, you've already deep struck, you can't move now. And then coming back to later, forgetting to use a stratagem and then going, oh, actually, I'm not going to let you do this now. It's actually, I think that was like the pinnacle moment of like, this is not the Warhammer we want to see. Let's change it. But like I was saying, it's like, it's not that I want everything to just shift all the way back. I just think maybe there needs to be some game mechanic that actually allows you to be a bit secretive, so you can outplay your opponent because of the information, you know? Like I said, secret objectives might be the fucking goated idea I've ever had, you know? You know? So, no, I don't think we should go all the other way and be completely secretive and all be knobheads to each other. But yeah, I think there's no secret ploys in this game anymore, you know? There's no like pulling one out of the bag and be like, this is my pivotal moment, you know? There's no ults, you know? That's the thing with 40k, there's no ults, there's no ultimate. I can't like halfway through the game and go, fucking yes dude, ultimate time, you know? There's none of that. It's just rules. So yeah, I think Kayara, I think we're in agreement, really, to be honest. I think we kind of saying the same thing slightly differently. I do think we are like, we do both agree. It's like, we don't want everyone to be like suddenly gotcha everyone, but we kind of want an ult, you know? So. I don't think secret secondaries would lead to that. I think it was a fulcrum of the overcorrection. Yeah, exactly. No, we're just having the same conversation, I think. I think we're just saying it slightly differently. So yeah, so there you go, chat. That was some drama. And you caused it. That's where we're at. We're arguing about intent, and chat caused it, not me. What? You had an opinion, and you all tried to start arguments with each other. I gave you a platform, and then all you did was try and shit on each other about it and say you got a shit idea, and actually I quite agree. You know? But hopefully you enjoyed this stream. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all my guests that came on and gave me a hot take or a random opinion. So don't forget, there's not enough gotchas in the game. People copy lists of shit at the game. People who say there's no flavor are cringe. People who roleplay as Black Templars on Twitter are cringe, and Stoke-on-Trent's a really cool place to go to. Initiative needs to come back. And I feel like we had another one. It was great. It was so good. It was so good I forgot. But that's it. So thanks so much for watching. I'll be live again on Wednesday, and I'll see you there. Appreciate you, and bye-bye for now. Bye, everyone. Bye. Bye.